Yo, it's your boy King Marco in the building.
AB in the house yet again. Good to see you, Marco. How's it going tonight?
Yeah, it's going good, baby. How you living?
So, living the dream one day at a time. You know how it goes. You know
Yeah.
how it goes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, another dark day for AMC, I see.
Another dark day for a lot of people in the market today, though. You know, it
Yeah.
it was it was across the board. It wasn't just one particular thing. It's been the last 2 days have really been a lot of red floating around. So next week will be a recovery week or of some sort, I believe, for a lot of things. But we'll see.
hmm
We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah,
Crypto took a hit.
yeah, crypto did take a hit, but I'm not worried about that. They'll fly back another day. It always does that shit. It goes up, goes way up, and then it comes back down to reality. So
Yeah.
I'm not
I
really I'm
just
not really
I just hope AMC bounces back so I can get the fuck out of this shit somewhat, at least for the most part. I'll keep a little bit, but with all the shit going on around it, I'm just kind of, I'd rather put my money in GME because they're basically the same as far as
yeah.
what the idea behind investing in them is, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's been interesting. It's been interesting. But I don't really know where to start with all this shit. But I mean, we wanted to talk some sports tonight too, so we probably will get into football a little bit.
We'll get to that in a minute,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah,
just I don't know. It's just to me with AMC, it's too nerve wracking for me
yeah. It's
right now.
always something. It's like last week we had a space call and we got invaded by these assholes. Right? They came
hmm
in and tried to run our shit. And I don't. Were you part? You weren't part of the first one. You were part of the
No,
second one, though.
yeah, the
And I
second.
tried to listen. There was a lot of echo, but I got to the point where you were trying to make the point that if Adam Aaron had $50 billion worth of Tesla stock, would he sell it right now? Which I think
Yeah,
you talked to me about, but they weren't getting what you were saying, and they were trying to do all this dancing around it. But now this week, some of those people are turned into heroes because they go against the smart guy, the smart. I don't know his name off the top of my head, Mark something or other. Anyways, another guy they popped up out of nowhere. Terra's been pushing pretty heavy and has something to do with they're trying to do some sort of NFT or stock token to pair with the AMC stock, so they can supposedly um, reveal if there's actual naked shorts or not. Which they already did a share count, so I think if there's naked shorts, they'd be already exposed. Which I think there are naked shorts. I just think that Adam Aaron can't come out and say that because of legal stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
hmm
so and that's not saying whatever. I'm just saying like this is how I've seen it go down, but now with this guy coming in out of nowhere and pumping up, and I think he used to work for hedge funds, and people are kind of like, yo, what the fuck is this? Why are you Coheeds? Yeah, Coheeds. Um, why are you trying to come and help us all now? And he knows that Charlie Gasparino, the one that's always clowning the apes on Fox and shit.
hmm
And so that guy's turned and he's like acting like he's for the apes. So it's all really suspicious. And people got questions, and then it turned into a space call, which turned into a bunch of drama, which I wasn't there for, so I don't really know all the details. I've just caught bits and pieces of stuff.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep track of when this stuff is going on online because Twitter moves pretty fast, and you get things in pieces and bunches, and like most of the drama shit, I don't really care too much about, except the fact that it damages our reputation as retail and traders overall. You know what I mean? Because they're going to make it tougher for us. It's like, they're trying to get the SEC involved, and they're trying to come all these ways. And this Coheeds, one thing he did is he made it seem like, yeah, when we go from, but he made it seem like that he was in contact with Adam Aaron, that they had come up with kind of the way it was presented, at least at first, I believe, was kind of like presented like they had been talking about this plan. We'll come to find out this guy sent Adam Aaron emails, but Adam Aaron never responded. So it wasn't like he had actual conversations with Adam Aaron. He was hollering at him, but Adam Aaron never responded to him from what I understand. But he made it seem like that, and then he came out with this idea, and people start questioning it. And it's like, yeah, what happened to just buy and hold, like Eric said in here? It's that's about supposed to be it. All this other stuff, like if you guys are really concerned about the SEC and want to change the rules and all this shit, why don't you, instead of doing all this bullshit with the banners and all this stuff, why don't you coordinate a 1,000,008 march to the fucking door of the SEC? Because that's the only way they're going to change the rules. All this bitching online and stuff is not going to get stuff done. You want change? You take it to their fucking doorstep, and nobody's going to do that. They're going to sit there and bitch online. So they're not going to change the rules to better any retail traders. They're not scared of us. That's kind of what it comes down to. You know what I mean?
Oh, no.
So because it's just a bunch of keyboard warriors, you know, and that's kind of what it comes down to. And I mean, I'm no better, but I don't have the means to like put together a march and all this shit. I'm a fucking nobody. You know what I mean? Like the leaders of the community should be doing this shit instead of shilling and fucking asking for handouts and stuff like that. It's simple. You know what I mean? Like if you got 4 million investors and they're all pissed off that they're losing money, and money is, you know, like you fuck with people's money, that's different than anything else. That's different than fucking with your race. It's different with you fucking with your sexuality. It's a different way. You're fucking with people's money. You're fucking with their fucking livelihood. You know what I mean? Like it would be easy for these motherfuckers like Trey and Matt and David and whoever the fuck else is out there to try to coordinate some sort of protest on fucking the SEC's doorstep. But they don't. So you're all fucking full of shit. You don't want to get nothing done. You just want to make money off the element. You want to drag this out as long as it fucking goes on for. Nobody really knows if the mother of all short squeezes for sure is going to happen or not, because there's a bunch of things that could fuck it up, and they're doing a lot of them right now. So, you know.
In that chart, I just don't know. It's just, to me, I would be frustrated if I was in AMC like this, especially when that bitch went to $44 early this week. When that bitch looked like it was about to run, because it was at $40 on Monday, then it ran up to 44 in the middle of the day on Tuesday, and then that motherfucker is right where it's at right now.
Yeah, but this is the thing: is people get excited about these 2 or 3% gains or 5% gains in a day and act like it's this big deal. This is how the stock market moves all the time. Of course, there's going to be a correction this week from it going up. If it's not a big deal until it takes off in huge percentage numbers, if this is going to happen anyway. So every time there's cheerleading, it's just getting people's hopes up and then saying next week. And I know I'm kind of on the next week train right now, only because the algorithm times. You know what I mean? Like that's the only thing that fucking matters right now is the algorithm times. And what matters when the algorithm times come and hit is the buying power to keep that motherfucker shooting up. And that's where the distractions and all this shit comes in. All this other bullshit they're playing is going to make people nervous, and people are going to cash out. This will go up to, say, $70, $80, $90 maybe, right? Or whatever it goes up to next time. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that fucking cash out and like, I'm done with this shit. I'm going to take it and put it into something else. I'm going to take it and put it in GME because they have the same kind of thesis and they don't have as much fucking drama. They don't have all this bullshit surrounding it. No other stock has this bullshit surrounding it. So why do you want to be involved in this shit when you got people that supposedly are supposed to be bringing in new investors and just taking us all away? You know what I mean? Like pushing us away. And if they don't agree, what's the first thing they say? You don't have to be invested in the stock. Well, motherfucker, I am invested in the stock, so I do care. You know what I mean? Like, just like if you're invested in a stock and you see some shit going on with it and you have questions, you're going to ask those fucking questions, whether it's MMAT, whether that's the water one you like. If they started doing some shit like you didn't like, I'm sure you would speak up and be like, hey, I'm going to take my money out because they're doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what's the difference? Why is it so poisonous when people do it to AMC? Because AMC's leaders and the people that reflect how the crowd that invests in the stock act like fucking assholes all the time. So who wants to be part of that shit? And then hide behind charity and say, oh, look how good we're doing. You know what I mean? So
I think that personally, even if, let's say the algorithm is true, if that algorithm is true, I think it's going to affect all the other stocks except AMC. I think that's what it's going to do, that because it's going to frustrate people. That's what's going to make people even more frustrated because it's been frustrating. So what makes you think that the frustration is going to stop?
Well, the frustration ain't going to stop because when people misunderstand, like I can say Adam Aron's doing a bad job and all this stuff, but the fact of the matter is, it's not his job to make the squeeze happen. And people act like that he owes them something, he owes them something, and that's not the case. And the fact of the matter is, he don't owe us shit. It's his job to make sure the company runs either profitably or does what's best for itself, which I said before, probably before the pandemic came along, the best thing for the company was to bankrupt and sell it out. And it still might be that. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it isn't. Sure, things are kind of turning around some form, but they're not turned around. They still posted the last quarter. So it's not spreading FUD. It's spreading fucking facts. You know what I mean? Like, it's spreading fucking facts. So he has no incentive. You've said this before. He has no incentive to make this squeeze happen, because as soon as it happens, AMC goes right back to where it was before, and he can't rely on people sitting there going, "Oh, we'll invest. We'll make sure we reinvest our money after this happens." You really going to buy those people's words on that? You know how many? You know, like, it's so he can't take people's word for that. So regardless of whatever I think he's doing a shit job or not, his job is not to appease me and not to appease them. It's to appease his people that pay him the actual fucking money that he's getting paid.
I mean, well, it's put like this. In a way, you kind of do have to appease your shareholders. You have to show
Okay,
that
but he
this
does
company,
that. He does that by playing to the crowd. Like that's his appeasing the shareholders. You
yeah, but you
understand?
still have to do something to show the shareholders that we are a company for the future. You know, we have to do certain things to where say, you know what, I'm about to buy some more shares. I'm not about to sell any of these shares. If anything, I'm about to average up. Even if I got to average up, because I believe this company is gonna go all the way to the moon. You know what I'm saying? If it
Yeah.
really is supposed to go to the moon, but they're not doing anything to make you feel that this company is has a future. And
Not really, not any different than what it's been for the last 15, 20 years. And people could say all they want about it's doing great right now. That's not guaranteed to last, because before the pandemic ever happened, people seem to forget this, that AMC wasn't that good. And once this fad wears off, once this trend wears off, once this cult like thing wears off with this,
mhm,
they're going to be back in trouble again. And that's just facts, guys. That's just the way it is. That's the way it was before the pandemic.
yeah.
Things are going to go back to normal little by little. And then people are going to be like, why am I spending all this money going to the movies when I can just watch this shit at home and not deal with the fucking crazy ass people going
Yeah.
on in the world, you know?
And I was thinking too, I was thinking about AMC. People think that, with the movie theaters, let's say for instance, the movie theaters, they get 40% of sales of each movie that's put in their theaters. Companies like Disney Plus and HBO Max, one day they're gonna wake up and say, you know what? Damn the movie theaters. I want that 40%. I don't want to split 40% with them.
Well,
We actually don't need them anymore.
yeah. Well,
We
Netflix has already done that, right?
Yeah.
Netflix is like, fuck that theater shit. We're gonna put out our own movies, and some of them are successful and some are not. But
Yeah.
you're right. And they like, look, I know they just signed this deal with Disney Plus and stuff, but that's all short term stuff, guys. That's like 2 or 3 years tops. That's about how long this is gonna last in the end.
Yeah.
You know, like how long the Renaissance is gonna last. Those deals are about as long as that, I believe. I don't believe it's like a 10-year, 15-year
Nope.
contract. I believe it's like 2 or 3 years. So that doesn't show a lot of confidence in the future of it either.
Nope.
And like I said, with Netflix success, and lose the Renaissance period, lose the Renaissance period, lose the excitement about the stock and the short squeeze around this thing, and this is a dead ass company right now. I'm sorry, it's just a fact.
Yeah.
And I'm not investing in it because I believe in the company. I'm invested because I believe in the algorithms, and I've said that from the beginning. You know what I mean? Like it's the same reason why I'm getting into GameStop, even though GameStop at least are trying, I believe, to like change their business. You know what I mean? Like they're hiring some of the top people from some of the top companies around the world. The guy that run it, I think he was a former something at Amazon, right?
Mhm.
And they realize their business has to change, and they're at least trying to. Where AMC is just like, hey, we're going to take these high-end dollar deals with sports and see how it works out, and we might post another loss. Oh, let's get these exclusive movies for 45 days in the theater or whatever it is. Well, that's another. I bet they had to pay extra for that. You're going to tell me they didn't pay extra for that?
Oh,
and you know what I'm saying? Like that. You guys act like Disney came begging and screaming to them. I doubt that was the case. I mean, I'm sure Disney at first was just like, whatever, we lose more money, but eventually this is a change we're going through. I think they still think that. I still think this is just a change we're going through. Eventually it'll get to the point where theaters will be less and less. You know what I mean? Like, and I wouldn't even be surprised if we went back to a place where it was just small theaters in small towns or small areas again, not these big ass movie theaters, if anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The thing is that, the worst thing that ever happened to him was that you ever watch that Squid Games?
No, I've heard of it though, but I never.
Yeah, you need to watch that. That shit hard. That shit,
I don't have any Netflix right now. But,
yeah, I know. But if you ever get a chance to watch it, watch that shit. But they said that motherfucker generated damn near $2 billion, right?
Yeah,
and it was under a $750,000 budget. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And with that happening, most companies are going to be looking for projects where they can do those kind of numbers, putting in that little bit of money and doing those kind of numbers, and they're going to wash those kind of shows are going to wash away, AMC, because that's what the Disney Plus and Paramount Plus and all these other
Warner Brothers,
stations,
HBO
they all
Max,
want to do shows that can put where they don't have to put a whole bunch of money into, and they can make a whole bunch and get a whole bunch of money out of. And people are not gonna. I think the streaming services, they're not gonna give a fuck about the movie theater and the nostalgia of going to the movies with your kids and buying popcorn and all that other bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they ain't gonna give a shit about the movie theaters. They don't
And
care. There's no interest for them. What's the purpose of them caring about the movie theaters if that's not where they make their money at?
yeah, and this is the thing. This is the idea I've seen being pushed. Another great idea for AMC coming from the online community is this making the parking lots into like electric charging ports for electric vehicles and stuff, which is great, but that takes a lot of money again, especially if you do it in every theater. And electric cars are not a huge. I mean, like they're getting bigger every day, but they're not there yet, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not to the point where you need charging stations everywhere yet. And
who's gonna pay those high ass prices that they're gonna charge? Who's gonna pay that shit?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's really difficult to see how that is not just another debt. And this is the thing, you know, this thing with AMC goes deeper than we'd probably know as far as the connections and the manipulation and stuff. They put this guys under like, oh, the people, the stockholders wanted it because they made this online noise about like the NFL and stuff like that, right? But where does that start at? Who said NFL was a good idea? Because if I was asked about that before it got big, I would have been like, no, that's a horrible idea. And do you have any idea how expensive NFL streaming rights are? You know, like why you think it's cheap to do that and to bring people into a theater? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying every idea has to be passed by me or anything, but I'm just saying like the community's ideas that seem to come up seem to be manufactured, like gain a lot of steam quick kind of stuff and have a push behind it. It doesn't seem to happen organically. It seems to say one day somebody says something and it just takes off. And to me, that says a coordinated push behind what these ideas coming out are. You understand what I'm saying? Like the hedge funds, whatever you watch that Wall Street Conspiracy, and I know I keep saying about that, but you saw how they fucking work. You know what I mean? Like this is the type of shit they do. They manipulate the media, they manipulate everything. And I get people say, oh, that's crazy conspiracy theory stuff. The world's not that shitty of a place. The world is exactly that shitty of a place. So there is probably there is probably truth to the math of the AMC, mother of all short squeeze potentials. But I believe that with the algorithm and the way that is, with almost any stock that could probably apply, that research could apply across the board, I believe, to most stocks that have been shorted since before the pandemic. And I know there's different ways to get there, but the end thesis could be multiplied across multiple stocks, I believe, right? So why choose this one now? Why are we choosing this one? Because they keep, and another thing, there was more talk about more dilution coming up again. So it's just like they've figured.
Are they going to be voting for that?
What's that?
Are they going to be voting for the dilution?
I don't know. I just saw this kind of start coming around. But the thing is when we talk about manipulation and stuff, and you guys have been saying all along AMC is a con. Well, the more that happens, the more I believe the math is there and it still could happen. But I believe you're right in the con part of getting people to invest in and keep dragging this out as fucking long as possible to keep sorry, I was reading the chat, but to keep it running, you know, and keep it running as long as possible. And like AMC, Adam Aaron's going to cash out and be retired. So when's that going to happen? Next year? Early next year, probably, right? Because he's starting to cash out now. So, you know, it'll probably bump up again. I have more confidence now that GME will be the one that really takes off, though, especially with what Pawn told me and has kind of showed me. And we got to get her back on sometime to show her new DD. But I'm just afraid, like you guys say, this is going to be I think AMC might go up to a certain level and there'll be a big rug pull. You know, like, so, and that's exactly what he's saying in the chat here. Pi-Fi said today AMC is being used as a hedge for GME. When the run starts, they will pull liquidity from AMC. Rug pull. Do you follow PLFL or is that Pi-Fi? I can't, but no, I don't believe I follow them, but no. I mean, that's kind of what it's looking like. And the more the shit goes on around it, and the more you see the manipulation and the more you see the games being played, and this this Edge X Fund guy is going to come out and magically save us and all. And that's whatever, you know what I mean? Like, we didn't.
That's not gonna happen.
Look, and like Eric said earlier, the only thing we had to do with this thing was fucking buy and hold. And now they've turned it into a fucking game. They've turned it into a con. It's really hard to like stay behind that. And too much liquidity because AMC keeps releasing shares. That's right. You think it's not planned, that they're not leaking this out farther along? You know, like we should be closer to where GME is at right now than where we are, I believe.
Oh yeah, y'all
Yeah.
should be at least $90 a share right now.
Yeah.
That's where AMC should be right now. AMC should be like $90 a share.
Yeah. 90
Easy.
to 120. 90 to
Yeah.
$120, somewhere in that range, you know.
That's what it should be.
Yeah.
And the possibility of that motherfucker going at $90, especially now, because the thing is with me is that, let's say it was supposed to be a mother of short squeezes. That motherfucker should have been running crazy. It should have went from 70, like when it went up as high as $78, and then when it pulled back, that motherfucker should have ran all the way up. It should have went past 78
Yeah.
and beyond, and like it should have went to like tapped out like 150 and then went down to like 90.
I keep telling everybody, and I hate to hit the same points, but they're so simple. It's just like everybody, when DWAC happened and DWAC flew past where AMC was at, doesn't matter. Look, I'm going to tell everybody, it doesn't matter. You can throw all the numbers about whatever amount of shares, whatever optics of that opened some people's eyes. Optics that DWAC was able to shoot past AMC like that and maintain it. They're still above AMC. You know what I mean? Like that opened people's eyes a little bit, I think, to what's going on. It's opened my eyes some too, honestly. You know what I mean? So
yeah. That's the only thing. That's why I say, even if the algorithm does work, I don't think it's going to work for AMC. I think that's what's going to piss people. That's going to piss people off even more.
Yeah, they've learned how to control these, but the thing is once one gets out of control, it could be a chain reaction of all these going on, and that includes like Sundial. I don't know if Fami's on that list. That's the two I'm invested, but I think Sundial's on the list. Or even just go back to the four originals, the Bang, like the Bed Bath and Beyond. I think it was AMC, Nokia. I think was the other one, and GameStop. So I think, I mean, at least those. But I believe it's more than just those are being shorted and naked shorted, because you know, like it's happening all over. It's not just one particular company that is. I think there's unique situations with the math and the way the stock works and the amount of shares available and the short interest and blah, blah, blah. But in the end all be all, the same patterns has formed over all these stocks over the last couple of years, and they're just popping off at different times, you know. But, and like you said with AMC, it's kind of funny how they seem to see. This is the thing about the AMC what makes me think some ass still work, is because of all the shit going on with it, is they have this group of people that act like they're bringing new investors in, but are actually running people off. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's to me kind of calculated a little bit. Like, why are you so intent on running people off? Because this is why I think it works. Because if you remember way back, Jim Cramer went on and we did a show with this. Me and you, I think we're in Ticket did a show where Jim Cramer said one thing that stuck with me. He said, don't invest in AMC until the apes leave. So
I remember that.
This is why I think the math adds up, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to shake out as many retail investors as they can, and then the big dogs will come in and they'll swoop in and they'll push this up as high as whatever, and then cash out and take a bunch of money. And people like me and people like basically the poor people will be left holding the bag, not only from AMC but from the stock market crash, from all this stuff. You know, it's like it's another way for lower level people to be holding the bag. You know, and that's what I think
what's about to happen. Well, now that you said that, what's about to happen is that let's say the apes all sell out. Let's say the apes sell out. That if the apes all sell out, that'll bring that motherfucker back down to like $8. It'll bring. But they
don't need us all to sell out. They don't need us all to sell out. They want a certain amount of people to sell out.
It's got to fall down to like at least $16. It's got to fall to 16.
I don't know. Well, I mean, I don't really know what the number is to put on that, because
we're looking at that level.
We're looking at it from a level of not having as much money as they have to deal with. We don't know what their target number was. Their target number might be $30. You know what I mean? Like, their target number might not be as high as.
They're gonna try and run that bitch all the way down to the ground. They're gonna try and run it down to the ground,
and then have it pop back up.
What they're gonna do is that bitch gonna pop up one day. Yeah. It's gonna pop. It might run on. Let's say go down to 16.
This is where I give credit to. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Sorry, lost you for a second. What was he saying again? Sorry, the
I said
interruption.
this thing gonna run down to like $16, and what's gonna happen is that one day people are gonna wake up and see AMC done did a motherfucking short squeeze.
Yeah.
That bitch done ran up to let's say it ran up from 16 to like maybe $38. And
Yeah.
what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen is that the apes are gonna want to come back in that motherfucker, right?
And they're gonna drop it again
and
and
they're gonna
fucking
drop
drop it
that
back.
motherfucker. They might even let it go, let it go up. They might say we're gonna go from 38 to probably 58, and then from 58 they're gonna sink them motherfuckers again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to put numbers on the like where it's gonna end up at because we really don't know. That's really hard to tell. But I can see the concept of what you're saying. I totally agree with because like I said, what they're trying to do, they'll fake a squeeze. We're going to have a leg up because the thing is buying and holding is what counts as the algorithm, no matter what, no matter all the other bullshit surrounding it. Buying and holding is what keeping this motherfucker up, right? Really, in the end. So they shave off. So say they bump up again, and they fake the squeeze, and people sell. You know what I mean? Some people sell. Not everybody. Not everybody's going to sell. We know this. The next leg up, not everybody's cashing out. There's going to be a huge portion of people that's still holding because unless it takes off to like thousands of dollars this next time, people are going to still hold because that's what they're waiting for. That will shake out some apes. The next time they let it run, they'll let it run up to like $300 or something. You understand? So some crazy number like that. And then they'll drop it again. And that's when people will cash out and think the squeeze is over. They'll drop that son of a bitch down to like $8 again, and then 2 months later, you'll see that motherfucker shoot up because that algorithm will kick in again, and they'll know the timing on it. That motherfucker will shoot up to another 5, 6, 7, 800. That's when they'll shoot up to the mother of all short squeezes, and they'll be the ones benefiting from it because they'll be smart enough to play the both sides. Like you think Citadel isn't playing both sides of the board, so even if they take a loss on one side, they're not going to come in and like scoop. Like they're going to try to break even the best they can out of this. This is the best they can hope for.
Yeah.
So that's what I think the plan is with AMC and GME and all these ones is that it's not this. They're setting you up for the double pump fake, right? Right now they're telling you that everybody's been saying they're going to fake a squeeze, so they're expecting a fake squeeze. They're expecting this to jump up to a certain level and then drop, no number on the level or whatever. But like they're expected to get significantly higher and then drop again. What they wouldn't think of is they would do it again down the line. You know, like hey. We're gonna pump this motherfucker up. We're really gonna make it look like we're gonna get it up to like $200, $300, $400. We're gonna really make it look like this motherfucker squeezing. Drop that motherfucker again. Put that motherfucker down to like $8 or so, whatever, below 20 or whatever it's gonna be, and then pump that motherfucker again one last time. And then the company go bankrupt, and then they come in and take all the properties, all the values, and everything from that too. They're trying to get it all, guys. That's what they're trying to do. You understand? Like you think. This shit is on some deep shit. Like we sit here and joke about it for months, but shout out to Kid if he's watching. He's been doing some real work out there. This shit runs deep, guys. This ain't a fucking game. Like we all treat it like it's a fucking game and stuff. This ain't a game to these people. This is fucking war on the poor. This is the way it's always been. This ain't no different. This ain't no different.
Yeah, it's definitely a war.
And they think we're stupid, and a lot of us are proving them right.
They have proved them right because the majority of the people should have kept their mouth closed. They should have waited till AMC was like $200.
Hey, that's what I've been saying for a long time. Why do we have all these people online talking about like being online on Twitter and being online on like YouTube and making a face at the moment? Everything is a lot different than just a bunch of people on Twitter talking, a bunch of people on Reddit talking. GameStop doesn't get the blowback AMC does because GameStop, for the most part, doesn't play the fucking games, doesn't try to poke the bear. You understand what I'm saying? And y'all are treating this like a fucking game. It's not a fucking game. We are at war, guys. Like we can sit here and joke and whatever all about shit, but this is fucking war. This is financial war that's going on in the stock market right now. And right now we're outgunned. That's just what it comes down to. We don't have, because it's so easy to divide us with bullshit, it's just like anything else. It's just like politics or anything else. You can race bait, you can gender bait, you can whatever you want to throw out there. There's always something to cause division. That's what they want us to do. They want us to fight against each other. We were better off, just like you said, shutting the fuck up, not taking all these super chats, not taking all this dirty money. Basically, if it looks like to me, it's not dirty in the sense that it's illegal, but it should be. You know what I mean? Like a lot of it, when you're pushing, you know. And who do you think the SEC is going to come down on the end? They're going to come down on the hedge funds, or they're going to come down on a lot of these YouTubers and everything that they can probably get from manipulating the stock, you know.
Oh yeah, because they have manipulated the stock.
Yeah,
you know, believe it or not, the apes have manipulated the stock with the buying and don't sell. We're not selling nothing. You know what I'm saying? That is a form of collusion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, to a certain degree. So, and then you broadcasted it on there. I mean, that's damn near illegal almost what they did.
They won't get everybody, but they'll get a lot of people. You understand? They'll get more of those guys in jail than they will the hedge funds and the fucking people on Wall Street. That's what people are misunderstanding about this shit. So when you put yourself out there as a face and you want to give financial advice and whatever, and look, that applies to us too. We are always upfront about like, hey, we're not financial advisors. We don't have any whatever, you know. I mean, we just sit here, we bring up a stock, we talk about the chart, we say if it's good or bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not sitting there trying to push a product on you or push this on you. We're just talking like open conversation. Not like these
we're not sitting there saying we're gonna break the hedge fund.
We're not making money off the top of this. This is where the problem lies. Is like whether it's YouTube, like we don't have enough money from views to make any money off YouTube. So we're kind of just by luck. If we were a huge show talking about this, I wouldn't be talking about this probably because it would be stupid.
I would, because I wouldn't have no money invested in that motherfucker. I'd be like, shit, hey, I ain't got nothing invested in this bitch. Me personally, I'm saying, hey, this bitch is a scam. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm basically saying it is. And I'm not telling people to buy it and hold it forever.
But
shit.
Whether it's Trey and his videos, Matt and his super chats, Tara and her OnlyFans, all that shit is considered, you know, like if you're out there promoting this shit and you're selling stuff on top of it, you're going to be in trouble sooner or later. And the wall is starting to close in on these people now. And I think they're starting to feel it. You understand? Yeah. Like everybody's turning against Tara again right now.
Again?
Yeah.
What they doing to her now?
Oh, I don't really know. She hosted a space call with that Mark guy. And I guess she was like rude and cutting off people off, you know, all this stuff. Like she came into our room when you weren't there the first time, came in and spat some shit and leave. It's like, if you're going to sit there and spit shit, at least stay. And you know what I'm saying? Like, because her and Pone were getting into it. And then she told everybody that me and Pone don't hold AMC. Well, Pone doesn't, but I do. So I have a right to say whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. So who the fuck is she to be the police in whatever this community? Just like that David guy and like all this shit. You know what I mean? Like, and like, look, I don't even want to talk about the David guy because that shit was just another form. I was getting pulled into some manipulation shit. And I don't want to. It just, you know,
this shit is just so mentally draining, man, dealing with this shit.
Because you're dealing with people, like, you don't think some of these people aren't specially trained, like CIA trained to manipulate people? These people that nobody had any idea of who these people were before this ever happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some real shit going on out there right now. You know, there's some real shit. This is not fun and games. There's a lot of money on the line here, and you think that these people won't do whatever it takes to make sure their money ain't fine? You're fucking out of your mind.
You know, the sad part about it is that when I explained to them, I says, who the hell would divest $50 million out of a company that's on the rise? Who the fuck would do that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That makes no sense. You know, and then they sit there and say, oh, he had to do it. No, he didn't. He did not have to do that. Nobody forcing Adam Aaron out the door.
Yeah,
it'd be different if people were calling for his head, and then they said, "Well, he got to sell half. He's gonna sell half his stock," and people were calling for his head to be fired or to resign. But Adam Aaron was a guy that everybody likes. There's nothing better than being in a place to be a CEO of a company that's flourishing, that has a future, and everybody loves you.
Yeah. And I don't care how old
why the hell would you leave? Why would you leave that? Why would you leave that situation?
I don't care how old he is. How many rich people you know actually do that shit? You know, like sit there and
nobody's gonna do that. That's what I'm saying. He's 60. 60. So you mean to tell me that once he leaves AMC, this is the last job he's gonna ever have. This is the last position he'll ever hold for the rest of his life. I find that very hard to believe.
He'll take a year off. Let the let everything die down, and then he'll be back in somewhere. You'll see it.
Yeah,
I mean,
he'll be a
it's
CEO somewhere else.
yeah. So like this is, and people, when you bring that up, I kind of heard some of this in the space call you were in. When you bring that up, people just like people's answer for me when I ask about his pay, right? They're like, well, he's a CEO. Well, it doesn't mean he gets to get that much money. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when you were in the space call, what was I saying? Sorry, go back to what was he was saying
The Adam Aaron, the Adam Aaron pulling out.
Oh, the Adam Aaron pulling out money and stuff like that. Like, if this was any other CEO, any other company, it would be an issue. No matter when he told us or whatever, no matter when he told us. And they act like Adam Aaron, like, when are rich people your friends? Has anybody rich ever been like, just
they don't give a fuck about you when it comes to their money.
Yeah.
When it comes to their money, like they say, most CEOs are selfish, are super selfish.
Yeah.
So Adam Aaron don't give a fuck about nobody but Adam Aaron at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He don't care about nobody. He's pulled $50 million off the table, and I'm like, I'm not pulling $50 million off the table of a company that's supposed to be, that's got a great future. I'm not pulling $50 million. I might pull $5 million, but I'm not pulling any.
That's the other thing. When you confront them with that, right? Their response is like, you don't know Adam. Everybody's situation is different. Well, there's a track record of rich people being assholes, and Adam Aaron is no different than a lot of those fucking assholes. You know what I mean? Like, he's not. It's a track record of this stuff going on for years. So it's not like what they're trying to portray him doing is very unheard of, where what we're saying is very normal. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. They're reaching, like, they're making Adam out to be some special guy, and he's not that special. He's been the CEO of 7 different companies, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, if he's I don't know why he's worried about retirement money, because it seems like he has a lot of money in the bank.
That's what I said. That's the thing I said. Yeah.
So, you could say everybody's situation is different, but when you look at it, step back and look at the track record of what other people have done in his position, it's not that different. You understand what I'm saying? It's not. So, like you said, if it was like Elon's selling a lot of Tesla right now to avoid taxes and shit.
Elon still got a shitload of how much money he got wrapped up in Tesla. Yeah. As far as shares, he sold like maybe 5-10% of his shares, I think.
Yeah.
Or something like that, which is nothing.
Yeah, which is nothing.
For him. That's nothing to him.
Yeah. But I'm saying Adam could be doing it for some tax reasons. I'm not a tax expert. You know what I mean? Adam be cashing out for tax reasons. That could be one of the things. But it also could be that he knows this is going to be his last chance to cash out before he retires.
Yeah.
Before he retires from this job.
Before this motherfucking stock go down. That's what it said. Because, like I said, that thing would be worth $50 million today and worth $5 million in a year.
And I love how they say, well, JP Morgan is handling it and they have to stagger it out. We don't know that. We don't know that JP Morgan has to stagger out. And even if they do have to stagger it out, it can be one day after another day after another day. Hell, they could be selling it right now because that stock is going down, and we would have no fucking idea until it was down the line, right? So,
he can sell it in 50,000 blocks, 50,000 share blocks and some shit like that.
Yeah.
And nobody would ever know, and it wouldn't affect the price because they get at least averaging right now probably like 30 million in volume a day.
Yeah.
40 million in volume a day. To unload 50,000 shares with a 40 million, that ain't nothing.
Yeah.
50,000 shares out of 40 million in volume a day, shit. He'd be done. He could sell all his shares, which is like almost 1 million shares. He could sell that shit in 20 days.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be 20 days. That's 20 days worth of selling. And you wouldn't even notice it.
And Bot makes a good point. Bot, it's going to be sold at every peak. You're exactly right. It's going to be sold at every peak because they're on that computer shit that we don't have, where they can sell in milliseconds. You know what I mean? Like that's what. So, like I said, Adam Aaron is not everybody's hero, and it's not like look. I understand he's doing his job, but what people perceive his job to be and what his job actually is 2 different fucking things. You know what I mean? Like, it's 2 different fucking things because he's beholden to the shareholders. But as far as like right now, right, he can look at the shareholders and go, well, look, the stock is up, so much percentage from this year. What more do you want from me? You know what I mean? Like that. And what are you going to say to him? You know what I mean? Like, what are you going to say to him in his position where he's like, if you like the stock is up, I appreciate y'all, whatever, but the stock is up. So we're doing great, right? Like that's kind of what, so we can post these losses. You guys still buy the stock. You know what I mean? Like that's what it's kind of turning out to be.
It's just, I don't know. For
Yeah.
me, I don't feel comfortable with the CEO of the company selling taking $50 million off the table.
No.
In the middle of a war. You in the middle of you in the middle of a war,
in the middle of a war.
CEO takes $50 million off the table, and nobody finds nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And this is the guy. This is the guy that people are making out to be ride or die, to fuck the shorts, because he did this cute little trades video where he showed naked shorts or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's just he's not ride or die for you guys. I'm sorry to break you. He don't give a fuck in the end about the hedge funds have been doing this shit for decades. If Adam Aron really gave a fuck about it, he would have done something a long time ago. He's been around for a long fucking time. So let's not get that confused either. If he wanted to do something about shorts and all that shit, he could have done something about it with other companies too. You know what I mean?
Would you kiss the ape's ass if you got him $50 million? Because I bet you his shares wasn't worth $50 million.
He is going to disappear for a year after he cashes out, after he retires or whatever you want to call it. He's going to disappear again, and then you're going to see him back in some role somewhere again,
somewhere else,
and everybody's
going to see him. You're going to see him in cryptocurrency next.
Yep,
that's what you're going to see. Adam Aron. You're going to see Adam Aron signed on to. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but like a company like Crypto.com or some shit. You're going to see him on the board of that.
Yep.
That's what you're going to see next. You're going to see he's going to be gone.
No.
He still have a little bit of money invested in AMC to make it look good.
No, what are you going to do is he's going to become the CEO of Robinhood.
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised.
Hey, look, no. Hey.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Who did he sell those? Remember when he took all that information for the stock, whatever, the share count, and then he sold it the next day? Who did he sell that to?
Yep.
Who did he sell that to?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So don't act like he's our friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what, and like, but it's not his job to make the squeeze happen. It's not. It's just not. Has nothing to do with him, really, in the end. The only thing he can do is prevent it. And it's probably better in his mind for his business to prevent it, because as long he realizes once that, so say it squeezes before they get out of debt, then what? You know what I'm saying? Like, if squeezes, a lot of people cash out. All of a sudden, there's not many investors. That stock price is as high. What happens then?
You know what? I really think that they still won't sell. Believe it or not, I don't think they'll. Even if it squeezes, they won't sell.
I don't know. I mean, there'll be a portion of them. You're right, but I think we forget that. Like, so on Twitter and everything, things get heated, but really, it's a small. There's over 4 million to 5. There's 4 to 5 million invested in this company. The Twitter crowd is actually a very small portion of this company. And the ones that aren't speaking up, you can't tell what they're going to do. They might hold, but my guess is if you're not speaking up and you're not that vocal about stuff in the stock, you really could give a shit less either way after this is all done. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so you might reinvest, and by the way, you're not going to reinvest the amount of money that you did before. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's no way that you're going to invest the amount of money back into this after the squeeze happens like you did before, because there's no real benefit to you doing that except for small growth over time if the company keeps growing. But you're also taking a chance because, like we said before, once the fad wears off 5 years down the line or whatever, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, it's going to be right back in the same position again. And they're changing the rules to prevent this from happening again, not to benefit us, to benefit them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, to benefit the other side of this. So that's what the long game is here to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're looking at next week and next month, and they're looking 5-10 years down the line at this.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they've been doing this for so fucking long, guys. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we got a shot. Like, we have a shot. I think we have a couple different shots we can get. Like, look, it's like being in a boxing match. Even though you're going to go down, you want them to feel you in the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to know that you stood your ground. We get a couple shots in, that's a win for us. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to spread FUD or whatever like that. I'm just saying the facts here, guys. We're hitting them where it hurts because it obviously is hurting them. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't even know about that anymore. I used to think that, but I don't even know. I don't even know if that hurting them anymore. I think they've, because didn't the hedge funds buy some shares in the AMC before?
Yeah,
but like about a couple months ago.
This is the thing. This works both ways. The way they talk about us isn't any better than we talk about them a lot of the time. So this is personal with them too. It's not just about the money with them. It is personal on that other side of the fence too, a little bit. You understand? Because they look down upon us. So they're like, you can't win. There's no way you can win. You might hit us a couple of times, but you're gonna pay for that in the end. Somebody gonna pay for that in the end, and it's gonna be the little guys that pay for it in the end. You know.
Oh yeah.
So
It's just, I don't know, man. For me, the reason why I'm talking about AMC so much is because I see where mentally this can destroy people. This can mentally destroy people if this thing don't go right.
Yeah. Oh
You know,
yeah.
if this thing goes all the way down, if this thing goes all the way down to like $12, I just see a lot of turmoil. The apes is already divided and it's $40. Just imagine what it would be.
Well, people forget that the FOMO of the last run kicked in to a degree, and there's a lot of people speaking for people right now that have been holding. And I held for a long time where I was around $11 average or whatever, right? 11 to 13. There's people that got in this motherfucker 8. There's people that got in this motherfucker at 2 that are still holding, and they're just fine, and they think it's all fun and games. It's not so funny the people that bought on that FOMO that you guys perpetuated that are sitting there holding at $50, $60 a loss right now. Some big money in this. Some people's life savings are in this shit. You can say whatever you want about it, but when you sit there and use language like winning lottery ticket and this is guaranteed and blah blah blah, like this is kind of the language that they've been using for a long time. People get caught up in it and make dumb decisions. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's easy to get caught up, especially when you're struggling. You know what I mean? Like, especially when you're poor and you're like, this is my chance to get out. There's going to be losers in this, guys. And I'm fearing it's going to be, like you said, they're going to run this up. They're going to play this game. And they've got these people brainwashed so hard into thinking that this is going to be it, that no matter what happens, they're going to hold. You know what I mean? And they're I don't know. It's so complicated because there's a lot of truth about AMC and GME and all these stocks going around, but there's also a lot of things that have to fall into a place, and there's a lot of untruths that going around, so it's hard to pick out what really, you kind of have to step back and look at it from, like, since meeting you guys, right? And Kid's been great and Bot's been great. You guys have really taught me to kind of step back a little bit and take a look at the further out things, you know what I mean, in the stock market. And I made more money when I started listening to you guys. You know what I mean? Last month or so hasn't been good because I haven't had to pull out money. But I mean, I told you guys, I don't know if I said it on the show or not, but I know I messaged you guys, I think it was in Discord, that, when I was last year, when I was back, earlier this year when I was back in Alaska, I made like $3,000 more just listening to you guys than I did just holding AMC. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and that helped me get out of, get home and everything. That's what that money did. Now, it's been a little rough since I got home because the stock market hasn't been doing all that great, honestly. It's that's the thing, that something's going to happen one way or another soon, because the crash is coming. It's coming. It's if we're not already in it, because the last 2 days, and I know this is just kind of a vague number throw out there, but when I go on the Webull, I look at the number of advances and the number of decliners. The number of decliners is almost doubled 2 days in a row the number of advancers, which means to me that everything is down, right? That's basically what, like, when a lot of times they'll say the market's red and it's about half and half, where the advances and decliners sit. This is not the same this time. I haven't seen it like this for a long time, where it's so far in 2 days in a row. So tomorrow is probably not going to be any different. I don't believe. Maybe you'll have a bounce back day, but but it's one way or another, something's coming soon, and it's going to be right before Christmas. And depending on which way it goes, there's going to be a lot of unhappy people or a lot of happy people, one way or the other.
Man, I'm not banking on it being a bunch of happy people right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the futures ain't that bad. It's in the green. So, I mean, but you know what I'm saying? I think it'll be red tomorrow for all we know.
Yeah.
But I just know that for me, with being in AMC, having all my money in the AMC, man, and if this thing don't go right, it's just gonna be a lot of shit, man. I really do believe it's gonna be a lot of drugs being smoked, a lot of
No,
breakups, a lot of breakups
one thing,
with families and shit.
yeah, one thing that'll happen though out of this that should have been happening a long time ago if they really were serious about changing the rules is, say everybody gets fucked over in this thing, right? They're gonna. You think they're not gonna march down the SEC's doorsteps all of a sudden now and be like, "Where's my fucking money, guys? You guys fucked me out of my money."
Yeah,
Like, like so that's what I'm saying. They should be. If you really want to get at Citadel, start fucking protesting at their fucking doorsteps. Start protesting at the SEC's doorsteps. That's the only way it's gonna change. That's the only way it's gonna change.
yeah. The only way that's gonna happen is that a lot of money has to been lost.
And people are lazy and sitting on their laurels because there's a lot of people that made a lot of money in this. The leaders of the community are sitting fine because they've been invested since the beginning, right? So why would they take a chance on damaging their money to do something as extreme as doing a protest at the SEC's doorsteps or promoting that? Because then they'll AMC was $2. Imagine protesting being up 400%. That's what I'm saying. Like, it makes, so those people that are leading this movement have no incentive to really change the rules for either right now.
No,
you know what I mean?
But just say, for instance, the ones that's invested at $2. Let's say, for instance, the ones that's invested in $2, and it ran and they've been in since when it was $78, but then it comes back down to $12. Even though you're still up, you still don't feel good about fumbling $60-something. You know what I'm saying? That's not a good feeling to have. That even though you're up, even though it's not a loss, even if you sell it at $12, it's still not a loss. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's still a $60 loss because you had $78 per share that you own.
But in the same token, this is where these YouTubers have kind of backed themselves in the corner. What they don't tell people is don't put all your money in AMC, invest in some other things to make the difference of what you're going to lose while holding this sum. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I did for a while. Is I diversified I had 8 to 10 different stocks in my portfolio, and that way it minimized losses. But when I saw good jumps, I could cash out and be like, "Yo, I'm gonna take this money and move it here." Blah blah blah. That's kind of what I did, But they don't tell you that. They just tell you about AMC, which is disingenuous. You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to bleed this movement and not be honest with your people about how you're making do until this happens, until this AMC squeeze happens? Because you have to. I mean, if you want to put all your life savings in something, go right ahead. And like, I got lucky. I just happened to be all in at AMC when it popped, just because I was at this kind of lull time in my life, and I was just like, I'm just going to throw this in there. And I wasn't really heavy into investing like I am now. You know what I mean? Like, and not even heavy now, but I'm just saying, like, I wasn't all the way deep into it. I wasn't all the way deep into it. So it jumped up and I held it, and it was easy to hold because I had other money coming in and stuff like that. But like I said, it's very disingenuous for you to promote this and nothing but this for a long time, and then all of a sudden come out and say, "Oh, well, we're going to talk about other plays." Well, you should have been doing that from the beginning. It shouldn't have just been all about AMC in the beginning. It should have been about helping people, like you said. Look, you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You can tell people to hold AMC and tell them about these other plays too. You understand? It doesn't have to be just one thing,
But they knew the algorithm was all about AMC. They was riding the AMC train. They knew that if you promoted other stocks on your show, you wasn't going to get that much run. People wanted to see more shows about AMC and where it's going to go and how far it's going to go up and everything else.
Yeah.
That they got sucked into that whirlpool with that.
I think, and this is where I try to give the benefit of the doubt to some people, is I think when they started this, they didn't expect it to go on this long. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's true.
Like, it's easy to look back now and kind of trash a lot of these guys, but they've painted themselves in a corner, which is why they should have never started in the first place doing it unless they were going to be absolutely 100% honest with their people that are following them, and they haven't been. Like Trey, I'm sure, does not just trade AMC. Matt does not just trade AMC. Review Dork does not just trade AMC, but they made it seem like that without saying it. You understand? Like, so that's why a lot of shadow is being cast upon these people now, because they come across as disingenuous. And then the more they ask for, the more they promote things that are kind of dumb, like Ape Fest and the movie and shit like that, the more vigor and venom and then you go on Fox News, which, well, we're supposed to be fighting against the mainstream media and shit. And
that's probably what made them even more go into it more, because They just think about it. These guys had never received any attention from anything
And
until
it's
they
hard,
started talking about AMC, and so from
Yeah.
that point on, they said, we're gonna ride this AMC wave for as long as we can.
Yeah.
And
And I do believe too there are some out there that are being paid by hedge funds to play the
Yeah.
game too. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like it's a mix. It's a mix, guys.
Mhm.
Not everybody fits into one basket, but when you show certain things, yeah, it was all about building their channels to become
Mhm.
famous. Exactly. And that's so they're self-driven, they're self-motivated. And like a lot of people, a lot of these guys, money talks to them. So if a hedge fund comes along and says, "Hey, we want you to say this or we want you to promote that," they're going to do it. You know what I mean? Like I think that's kind of what you see with a lot of them. That's kind of going on right now is they're going to take the money no matter where it comes from.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't, I am not a fan of the super chats. I'm not a fan of all the stuff attached to it because that just speaks that you're not about the cause, you're about the money. You know what I mean? And granted, this is about money in the end, but if you're really sticking to what the cause was supposed to be about, it wasn't just about money, and it's just about money to these people. And that's where it comes across as disingenuous.
Yeah. I just think that in the end, people gotta really take a step back and look at AMC for what it is. And I just don't see how they don't see all the things that's in front of them. The CEO dumping it. Why would you hold on to something that he's not gonna hold on to? I don't care that he's 67 years old.
Yeah,
but I don't give a shit about none of that. That don't mean nothing.
It's just like the politics, whether it becomes Biden or Trump or whoever, or sports teams or whatever. You get tunnel vision. You get the shaded glasses on. Like I used to. Red Sox fans used to drive me nuts when I was a kid because they saw everything through Reds. This is before the Red Sox won a World Series, and they used to call it a rivalry with the Yankees. It's not a rivalry when you're getting your ass kicked all the time, but through the Boston fans' eyes, it was a rivalry. You understand what I'm saying? Like, but if you step back and take a look at the bigger picture, it really wasn't a rivalry. It was an ass kicking for 80 years, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's really hard to, when you're in it and you get into it. Like I know a girl, man, she's really into it, and I haven't talked to her for a long time, but she was big Trey fan, really just about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you get locked into that position, and it's hard to like take the blinders off yourself and kind of see out about,
Keeping the H and the AMC helps shorts hammer other stocks. All we hear is shorts lost billions on GME and AMC. Well, how about what they did? Make on other stocks. Yeah, I mean, I can go with that.
I mean, like Citadel is probably invested in some way or form in just about everything out there. They're that big, you know what I mean? They're that big. So to think that they're not making up some of their losses on the other side somewhere is, a little ridiculous too.
So if what Bot is saying is true, let's say what Bot is saying is true, that means the apes are going to get blamed for the crash.
Oh yeah, no,
they're going to get blamed for the crash big time.
Their favorite movie they love to fucking quote says this, shows them what's coming at the end, shows them what's coming. Yes, some people will make some money, but what will happen is the banks will get bailed out again, and they'll blame poor people and teachers and whatever else. They'll blame everybody else but themselves when the market crashes, and they'll benefit from the market crashing again, while the rest of us will get fucked over. You think property prices are bad? They're recovering some, but after this crash happens, you think that's gonna, you think rent's gonna go down? You think property value is gonna go down? Probably not.
Property value will go down. That'll probably go down because ain't nobody gonna have no money to buy their houses, and it's gonna be a lot of foreclosures.
Well, you're correct there, but what I look at is in the short term, maybe you're right, but in the long term, like 5 years from now, again, you know what I'm saying? Like it's going to jump up. Do you think it's bad now? Wait 5 years from now.
Yeah,
2 to 3 years from now, it's probably not going to be that bad. 5 years from now, I would be surprised if it's double where it's at right now.
Oh yeah,
because
I wonder in a year or two we will find all these influencers were all on someone's payroll. I'd say 99% of them never pushed the idea to take back their initial investment. It was a buy home.
Yeah,
that's what I would have done too. I would have at least taken back my initial investment.
Yeah, like I've already done that.
Hold that motherfucker. Yeah,
I've already done that. I mean, I kind of had to because of my situation for a little bit there, but
that probably was a blessing too, though. Believe it or not, to take back the initial investment. I probably would have done that, especially at $78. If I rolled that bitch from 2 to 78, shit, I'd have took my initial investment out of that motherfucker. Mm-mm.
Man, there's 2 times my account ran out, but one of them I couldn't do it. One of them was the fun one. My account was up to like 22 grand at one point, and I couldn't
Wow.
cash out though. I couldn't cash out because of the fucking day trading rules they put on us. I was so mad, and then it went down. I'm like, fuck me. That's when I went chasing. That was my chasing the money lesson right there.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, but like I said, if I would have been able to day trade freely on there, it would have been a problem. But
Yeah.
I was just like, man, motherfucker. And then the other time was when AMC ran up to like 70. I was holding, and I think I had it in 2 different accounts. So I think between both of them, I had like 16 grand. So
That's 70 selling those shares to get back what you put in, then ride the rest for free. They could have took 10% profit too. When they lose it, they won't be HF hedge funds' fault. It's their fault. Why hold this long for a squeeze? I mean, I hear you.
yeah,
I mean, shit. Ain't no way I'd have held. I would have sold that motherfucker for $278.
The only reason I am in right now is because there's going to be a next leg up. I think that's going to happen. One way or the other, there's going to be another leg up. You know what I mean? Like, because they want to fake the squeeze or whatever, however you want to put it. You know what I mean? But the algorithm, all this stuff. So there'll be another leg up. We'll see how far it gets, and then I'll see where I feel about AMC because, and we'll see how much GME jumps up too. You know, like if anything, if
GME is gonna squeeze, I don't have the same feeling about GME as I do with AMC.
No, it might not be the next jump up, but the next one after that probably. You know, GME is closer to squeezing than AMC is at this point. I think.
I agree.
You know, like and the way Pone explained it to me was like, it's actually cheaper per share because there's less shares available. You know what I mean? Like, not cheaper per share, but the overall cost of it, you get more of a percentage of the company you're buying into, even though you have less shares than you are with AMC, because AMC diluted the stock. And I'm not sure when this originally started, I think AMC didn't have as much volume. I don't know the volume numbers, but the shares numbers, but I think earlier this year at some point they already diluted the stock once.
Yeah, they did.
Or it might have been at the end of last year, but it went from like somewhere from like only 100 million shares to 500 million or something. Like I don't know the exact number. I don't want to put ridiculous numbers out like that. That's crazy.
At what price?
I don't remember. I see it was so early into it. I wish I could sit there and go through a list of all the stuff Adam Aaron has done and the stuff all these YouTube influencers has done and just run them off because there's so much shit that's just like, but yeah. So and look, he's going to ask to dilute the stock again next year at the beginning of this year. Guarantee it. He's going to ask, and we'll see what happens. A lot of people aren't going to be happy about that, but
why the fuck do they need to dilute to do what with it? What the hell are they going to do with it? What the hell are they going to do with it?
They're still in debt. They're still in debt.
So they're going. So you're going to dilute the stock to pay off debt? Is that what you? That's what you're going to do?
This is the thing, though. Is like, look, what people misunderstand. Like, and some numbers I've seen out there. I don't know how true these are, but I guess AMC is still $5.5 billion in debt, and they posted a loss last quarter of 220 million or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Those are not great numbers, guys. And like, look, it might be cash positive, but that debt is still there. That's a $5.5 billion from what it might not be that high. It might, but they still have debt. Their debt is not all gone. It's not like GameStop where GameStop's paid off all their debt and they're just riding from here on out. You know, AMC still has a lot of work to do. And like the way usually these companies get out of this is by diluting the shares, making more shares available so people will buy more. You know,
what's to stop them from getting in debt again?
They're still in debt. They're still in debt.
What if they dilute? Let's say they get to dilute the shares to pay off the debt.
It's still not enough to get. It's still not enough to get out of debt. They're still going to be in debt. It's just buying them time.
That's why I wouldn't even do it. You might as well just stay in debt. They have billions of debt. If AMC stays in the 40s and they can do an offering at 40 for 300 million shares, that will pay off debt and put them in the positive. But okay, well, what about the next year? Are they going to be back in debt again?
Yeah, but
is the tab going to keep running up? That's my question.
And just
I wouldn't mind paying off the debt if you're going to be in the green.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. 300 million is 12 billion. Shit. Yeah, what the fuck they going to do with that 12 billion?
And who's to say 300 million shares for $40? I don't really see, like, if he did that, the apes would be out. The apes would be out. There's no way they're going to sell all those shares. No way at that point. if he gets 100, 300 million more in shares, for example, like Nabat said, just take that number. Even if it's 100 million more, just take that, right? For $40 a pop. You think apes are going to eat that shit up? You think
they're stupid enough to believe that that's a good idea?
Yeah, well, it's a good idea for the company itself. If
I
you
don't
want
know,
to see
not for AMC, it ain't. I don't.
Well, no, I'm
so.
saying if you're trying to get out of debt, this is how companies normally do it: is they offer dilution, they offer more shares, people buy more shares, it helps them get out of debt. It's a good idea on their behalf to do this. It's not a good idea for the shareholders who are looking for a squeeze out of this. You understand? Like that's where the issue comes in. It's actually probably the right move to make as far as a business goes.
I would still do it to AMC.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. If I can get $4 billion from diluting that motherfucker, and I get and they actually put $4 billion at my disposal, I'm gonna rob that bitch blind.
Yeah, but you have to sell those shares still. You understand what I'm saying? Like major firms might buy all those shares. Might. I mean, that's a maybe.
Yeah, they'd be buying that motherfucker to write that bitch off as a loss.
Yeah, something like that. But even then,
they'll do.
Even then, like you said, AMC has to prove they can be profitable too, and that's not a guarantee either. You know, like that's not a guarantee either.
Adam Aaron can convince them to hold that the hedge funds will buy these shares to lend out shorts. Left my ass off. AMC is a trap. 70 was the exit. AMC was never part of the plan. It was only GME else fell for the gap. Yeah. I mean, 70 was the exit. I agree with Bob on that. 70 was the exit.
I don't know. I think it's going to bump up one more time because they want to draw this out till next year at least, probably, right? If they do the rug pull now, there's not enough people mad enough to like get out. They'll still hold, you know, and like it's, yeah. If Aaron convinced them, yeah, okay, I just, you know, what's the chances
of them diluting? What's the chances of them trying to dilute?
Oh, very high, very high,
very high.
Well, he's already tried once. He already tried to take a dilution. They had us vote on it. Remember?
Yeah.
Last quarter, they had a vote on it, and it came across as no. So, what are you supposed to do if you're Adam Aaron? If you got to ask again, you know, you basically got to ask again. And look, he could say he's retired. I'm sure he's fed up with this shit himself too. Like for real, on the real. Like talking to Adam Aaron like a real person, like an actual human being, right? Mm-hmm. He is probably sick of us motherfuckers. He is sick of us all. I would be too if I was him.
Yeah, he tired of kissing ass.
Yeah, so he could sit there and say, I'm gonna cash out, I'm gonna retire, and then come back in a year or two and not have this fucking crazy fan following. People will forget, won't necessarily forget who Adam Aaron is, but he won't be on the public's radar as much. I'm sure there'll be a portion of people that will either love follow him or hate follow him, depending on what he does. But you know, and he might retire. He might just be like, "Fuck it, I got enough money. I don't have to deal with this shit anymore." You know, I don't want. Yeah, but
old folks when they get old, they want to stay around a little bit longer.
Yeah.
They believe they're gonna live forever. See, especially Adam Aaron, he probably think he's gonna live forever. But you know what's about to happen? I can see this now. This is all a scam on Adam Aaron, and Adam Aaron is playing this perfectly to a certain degree. He's actually playing his exit perfectly.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you why he's playing it perfectly. Let's say he leaves. Let's say he leaves the CEO of AMC. AMC was on the up and up as far as like its stock price and everything else. So when he leaves, that makes him look good. And so once he's gone, AMC can, and let's say AMC goes all the way down to the ground. That makes Adam Aaron as a CEO look like he knows exactly what he's doing.
Look like a fucking hero, and then they can blame the next guy that came in for this. You know, like no, it's I get what you're saying. That's kind of what I was thinking too. Is like the next guy is a fall guy. You know what I mean? Like Adam Aaron was probably the original guy that the hedge funds put in there to begin with. But since this has all happened, you know, they're like, let's play this out. You retire, we'll bring somebody else in to finish the job.
Yeah.
You know, like that's how this works. That's how this shit works. You know what I mean? Like this is, and like there's this guy AMC Marine who's on Twitter, and he's been pretty good about kind of calling out some of the shield tactics. But he's foreign military and all this stuff, and he kind of breaks down like some of the tactics they want to use. But he kind of overlooks the fact that Adam Aaron is also a pawn in this game, and you know, like it's it's interesting to see how there's blind spots to a lot of people in certain areas. You know what I mean? Like he's AMC Marines, really good guy, has the right, right message out there about this shit, about just buy and hold kind of stuff. If you really want to make this happen. But as far as like the cheerleading for Adam Aaron and stuff like that, and I'm not saying he necessarily does. But I just think that he does. A lot of people have come on to the fact now that this is big money involved. People are waking up to this really quick. Big money involved in this, and they will do dirty fool every which way possible, which includes putting the CEO into this place to make it fucking tank. And like I said, I think that, so don't think that it's just us against them and us including Adam Aaron and AMC as a company itself. AMC as a company itself is not on the investors, not on the regular guys side.
Nope.
People forget, I bring this before, AMC has been around for 100 years, but in that 100 years, they've also pushed out, I'm sure, a lot of mom and pop theaters along the way and give two fucks less about them.
Nope.
You know what I mean? People act like AMC is this great company, which, fine. Think about that what you will. But when I look at it, I go, they're no better. They're not our friend. They've never been our friend. Before this, people always used to complain about how shitty the theaters were and how much they charge for popcorn and shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what I
now it's an American company.
Now it's a fucking American tradition and shit like that. Yeah. Well, I hate to break it to you guys, but they broke up the American. I'm kind of happy in the end if AMC goes bankrupt, because I think mom and pop theaters will come back around again, and smaller people will have a chance to at least make some money on some of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's a complex game. There's a lot of angles to come at, and people try to see the good, but ignore a lot of the bad that comes with not just this company in the stock market, but any other company in the stock market, any of the hedge funds, any of the shit, same when it goes to the vaccine and pharma companies and shit like that. It's all the same kind of people running this shit. Mm-hmm. They're going to do what they have to do to get that money.
I think it's just a big old mess personally. I think it's going to be a lot of, I just hope that this motherfucker don't go down crazy right before Christmas, because that would be that would be
horrible. That you want to see some riots in the streets.
That would be fucking horrible.
I ain't gonna even lie. Riots.
As much as I don't really care for the apes as much and their thinking, I still don't want them to experience crazy shit like that.
But the apes are represented badly by people I think a lot of the apes, I consider just ape retail trader at this point. You know what I mean? Like, because there's all sorts of people claim to be an ape. I think an ape is just a retail trader. You have bulls and bears that run the market, and you have us, the apes, retail traders. Mm-hmm. So whether you like it or not, they're representing you, they're representing Ticket, they're representing me, they're representing whoever else with the tactics they pull. You know what I mean? So, and that's the other point they're missing out on, is like, they're going to make it fucking harder for us because of you fucking assholes, because of you fucking assholes. And that might be pre-planned by the hedge funds themselves to say, hey, let's encourage this kind of behavior to make these guys look like assholes, look like greedy assholes, look like racist, look like sexist, look whatever way they want us to twist us in the news. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's the game they play. They do it all the time with every other thing on the fucking planet. Why wouldn't they do it here? You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, you've seen, like, with the protests, when it was Black Lives Matter, they'd say people are busting in from so-and-so, and then they do the same with the MAGA part of them. Oh, they're busting people in from this place. They're paying people off to do this. They're doing this. This same type of shit happens all over the fucking place. So what's the difference here?
Ain't no difference.
The difference is, though, a lot of times this is like these online warriors and stuff are all talking. If they really were serious about changing the rules to this shit, there would be protests already at the SEC. There would be protests already at Citadel's door every day.
They're not gonna do that till that bitch fall down to the ground.
No,
that's when you gonna see M16.
Then it's too late. Then it's too late. Then it's too late, though. Then it's too late. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Is
motherfuckers with M16s and choppers at Citadel, ready to kill one of the motherfuckers.
The problem with the stock trader community, or AMC the apes or whatever, is that they're reactive, they're not proactive. You understand what I'm saying? They're just we're very reactive to what's happening, and our reaction they can take and twist that however they want. Nobody's being proactive with the shit. Nobody's sitting out there like, I try to say, hey, let's fight for the workers. Nobody wants to get up and do that. In fact, they come up with every excuse why. They couldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like then they, about the SEC and everything. Well, they can bitch online all they want, but until they get up and do some actual activism, this is supposedly what this is supposed to be about. It's an activist really thing, right? Like fucking the hedge funds over as an activist act.
The sad part about them, when they don't care about what you said you in it for was fighting for the people that work at AMC on getting raises and everything. It is sad that their apes are actually thinking like an executive.
Yes, that's
they're
what
not. They're not thinking for the regular Joe Blow guy who gets up at 8:00 in the morning and works till 8:00 at night. They're not thinking about that. But they're saying, "Oh, they don't. But they don't do that much work there to get paid more money." I said, "Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
who cares? Who cares what they do?
And
what they do?"
By the way, you got in the conversation with those guys the other night about this, right? One thing I would like to say in response to anybody who has to say that is that they'll say like people will come out and say, well, I got paid $25, I got paid this an hour, I got $15 an hour to lay pipe or whatever, what I'm saying. So let me ask you this: AMC raises their rates. What happens? What happens when they raise their pay benefits? What happens to the job market when they raise their benefits, pay and benefits? What do you think happens?
To the job market? It might
to the job market. Say AMC raises to say, let's throw a crazy number out there. Say AMC starts paying $20 an hour to the.
You there? You there? Yeah, I don't know what happened to AB. Let's see. They can ask for 25 million shares if AMC does the token, but can't do the same for a bonus employee for working through a pandemic yet. They don't care about the people. They don't care about the people at all. You know what I'm saying? The apes don't give a damn about the people either. You still there, Ticket? I don't know what happened to AB. But anyway. Oh, AB?
Sorry, my internet kicked out.
Okay.
But anyways, what I was saying was, so AMC raises their pay 20. Some crazy number out there, like $20 an hour. What do you think other jobs have to do to compete with AMC?
They would have to do a lot more. They would have
to raise their wages too.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's where people misunderstand is like, well, if AMC employees, well, there's inflation, there's all the shit that's going on that people, no matter what kind of job you have, deserve to make more money at this point, especially when the CEO is making 3,803 times more than the average employee is. And that gap has only grown. It's not just Adam Aron. That gap has grown for every CEO to medium worker across the board for the last 20 years. The gap has gotten so much bigger right now, right? So we could force AMC to pay their employees more an hour. Then guess what? McDonald's has to pay their employees more an hour. Walmart has to pay their employees more. I don't get how that's so hard for people to understand. Like a rising tide raises all ships. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I kind of look at it as. But instead, they look at me and go, well, we can afford to pay Adam Aron this and blah, blah, blah. I make every excuse in the book why he deserves it and then shit on the little people. You know what I mean? And so these are the people at the front that, by the way, who sit there and say the stuff about the employees, about charity and shit like that, and then want to look at you and tell you, I'll hold for you, even though you're in the same fucking boat as a lot of those fucking employees are. You know what I mean? Like these are the people that are leading you. At least when I say what I'm saying, I may not agree with AMC. I may not, but I'm trying to help the little guys out, like we're supposed to be doing in this whole war against the fucking rich, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these fucking assholes just want to stomp people down, blow them so they can make money off their fucking back. So fuck them all is the way I feel. You know what I mean? Like that's fuck them all. Let AMC fucking go bankrupt because those people that aren't getting paid enough will go find better fucking jobs. That's the way I fucking look at it.
Yeah, that's how I look at it too.
If you don't want to raise the pay, then why should I invest in your fucking company? You know what I mean? Like that's so. And what if you really believe in the future of this company? It shouldn't be a problem giving you these people a pay raise of some sort because you're saying that you believe in the future of this company. If you're reinvesting in your employees, it's all fucking simple, but they make it like it's impossible to happen. They make it like it's ridiculous to, you know.
AMC pays between $8 $16 is for managers.
Yeah,
and they still paying motherfuckers $8 an hour to work at a place. That's just insane, man.
Well, the minimum wage in Texas is still $7.25 an hour. When I lived there a couple of years,
that's just insane. But you know, even though that the minimum wage is $8 fucking dollars, you should still want to pay your employee more than $8 fucking dollars because what's the chances of that motherfucker being there for a year, being there for 2 years?
Yeah,
there is no chance. Nobody's going to work for $8 an hour.
Look, but I get that they have to turn a profit first. I get that. Okay, I understand that. I'm not stupid. I understand that. But they also should have been turning a profit before they paid Adam Aaron all that fucking money. So I don't care about the profit margin right now. It's not about that to me. You understand what I'm saying? It's about the point of this motherfucker getting so much money. This thing squeezes. Everybody makes money off their backs. Everybody says fuck the little guy, and they never get nothing in the end. So even if it doesn't, like, I'm not looking for them to change the wage right now, this minute. I'm not saying that. Okay, I'm saying after this happens. Like, but you get the ball rolling now so that fucking happens. Because if you wait till after this happens, everybody's leaving, everybody's going to lose interest, and nothing's ever going to fucking happen to help these people. And then inflation's going to kick in, and these people are going to be even more fucked. Whether that's AMC and McDonald's, whatever. Like I said, the reason why I choose AMC is because we own the float right now. We own the majority of the company. We're the shareholders. We can put pressure on this to make a commitment to him to make this happen in the next year or two. You understand? So that's all I'm looking for. I understand you can't snap your fingers and give these people money that doesn't exist. It's not, but the fact that nobody's speaking about what's going to happen to these people after this happens is where I have a problem with.
You know what? To be honest with you, they could afford it, and I'll tell you why. If they sat there and said that, hey, we need to dilute some shares because we need to put this money back into our company. We need to give better wages to our people so that we don't have a higher turnover rate. We need to be we're putting this money back into the company. We're not diluting this motherfucker and just hiring consultants and giving pay raises to the executives and stuff like that. We're going to give raises to the people that's actually making this company go. Okay. A lot of people, more people would actually would actually buy more stock into AMC if they were doing that. They wouldn't feel so bad about diluting the stock. If a person came to me and said, hey man, I know we made $1 million this year, but we need to take this $1 million and put it back into the company. And this $1 million that you made this year could possibly be $10 million in the next year and a half, 18 months. Okay, I'm gonna take that risk. I'm gonna take that risk with doing that.
Well, tell me this too. Say next quarter they turn a profit, right? But they're still in debt. Tell me that the CEOs and the board and all that shit isn't going to get twice the bonus they normally did for keeping this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but everybody will be fine with that shit, and they won't do shit for the employees. But because that's where they're still in debt. It's not like they're out of fucking debt, but they'll be able to afford the bonuses for those people, and we know that's true. That happens all the fucking time. You know what I mean? Like, so
to me, I think that's where I disagree with the apes. See, the apes, there's a snottiness about them that ain't cool about them. You know, they should be sitting there saying, yeah, you're right, those guys do deserve to be paid more than $8 fucking an hour. You know what I'm saying? If you had that, I'm not really they can at least say that, hey, I'm not all the way for it, but I'm not all the way against it either. Okay.
Yeah.
They should say, I don't believe Adam Aaron should be getting no $50 fucking million off the table either. Yeah. He should be taking no $50 million. If you're gonna say that, if you're saying that the employees don't deserve a raise, then you should also be saying that Adam Aaron does not deserve to get $50 million off the table.
If they did that, I would be fucking fine with it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But and like I'm not trying to. I'm sorry, I kind of came at you hard there. I wasn't trying to. I just when I get into talking about things that I'm passionate about, it comes out as whatever, and it's not meant to be. But yeah, that's the thing is they have no problem with Adam Aaron doing all this shit and taking all this money. That's the biggest problem I have. And you're supposed to be fighting for the little guys. You're supposed to be fighting this war against the rich. Is basically what it comes down to. It's the haves versus the have-nots. It's never been different. It's never been different. Yeah, they deep throw it at them.
And they talk about, oh, we're tired of hedge funds destroying American companies. Well, the people that work in there, are they not American too?
Hey, if you're tired of them destroying American companies, how about being tired of these fucking American companies destroying towns like my hometown by taking their factories fucking overseas? How about that? You know what I mean? Like that's just as bad. That's worse if you ask me, because it wasn't hedge funds that drew shit out of my town. It was fucking corporations that came and drew shit out of my town. So it's not like they're fucking heroes in this story. No. They've turned it into the corporations versus the hedge funds. It's billionaires versus fucking billionaires. It's not like that to us. That's not why we got into this. You know, a lot of us got into it because we're tired of fucking rich motherfuckers fucking us over every way possible, and we thought we had a chance to hit them where it hurts for once. You know, and regardless if it was hedge funds, everybody's making out like these hedge funds to be terrible people, and I'm sure they are, but the corporations on the other side are just as bad, and AMC is no different than the rest of them.
Nope. And that's what people don't understand. People only sitting there saying this bullshit is because they got their money wrapped up into it.
Well, they keep doing stupid shit like begging Joe Rogan and Elon Musk to come and save us. It's like, you think those motherfuckers are going to come and save us?
They're not about to do that.
You think they give a fuck? You know, like, you think Joe Rogan gives a fuck about what's going on with AMC stock right now? They're trying to push for Matt and Trey to get on there. Yeah, he ain't gonna.
They gotta see some value into that motherfucking.
Yeah,
company,
I would be shocked if he let those fucking clowns on his show.
They're not about to do
fucking
that.
shocked. And then Elon Musk.
If Matt Kors or Trey Trace was to go on to like the Joe Rogan show, he'd be there to chop his ass up. You wouldn't be there you would be there trying to help him promote that shit.
Look,
He'd be there
to
chop him up.
Tara looked dumb on Fox. Trey looks dumb on Fox. You know what I mean? Like, when they corner him with a question he doesn't know the answer to. Like, one time they got him with the what's the stock actually worth in his mind, right? And he said $20 when it was at like 40, 50. It was up higher than what it was. You know what I mean? So it's like, why are you sending this dude on TV to make us look stupid? And then they asked him a question a couple weeks ago about, what about the people that have bought in at like higher levels and are holding? What do you tell those people to keep them? And he it's like, you should be prepared for that shit if you're gonna go on TV. Yeah.
AMC was 500,000. GME was 1,000 to 10,000, which would have happened. AMC will never go to 1,000. They beg Elon to pump AMC like Elon wants more issues with the SEC. It's game over when you beg people to buy. Yeah, I agree. Elon ain't about to get in that mess.
Yeah,
he's not about to do that. It's not even worth it. It's not worth it.
They'll run off the small investors and go beg that motherfucker for money too. That's the other thing the leaders are doing. They're running off a lot of the small guys because we have questions and we don't like the way they're representing us. But they'll go suck Elon Musk dick and beg him for some money.
They ain't gonna get
assholes. Yeah, they ain't gonna get. And even so, even say Elon does come in and pump this up a little bit. You think he ain't cashing out real quick either? You think you think Elon's gonna hold for the mother of all short squeezes? Get the fuck out of here, please. You know what I mean? Like, that guy's got so much.
No.
You know, like that's the kind of people we don't want in this shit. If you ask me, we shouldn't be asking these rich motherfuckers to get involved. If this is about us versus them,
yes, that's true.
Then why are we trying to get every fucking celebrity and every whatever on our fucking side? We should be like, fuck them all. We don't need any of you. We can do this ourselves. That's how simple it should be. They would gain so much more traction with people if they did that instead of begging these fucking assholes for money.
Yeah, if you have 300 shares, your opinion means shit. If it's questioning someone who just bought 60,000,
yeah. And I get it. Look, I get it too. Like, I get why the people with more money involved feel like they have more of a say and can sit there and squash us out. It's just the way of the jungle, baby. You know what I mean? Like, who has more gets more. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how it ends. You know, and it's just the way it is. But that wasn't supposed to be like this. They've told us from the beginning, if you have one share or 100,000 shares, you're supposed to have a voice in this. Well, when we get a voice, you don't like what we have to say, then I guess it's back to the fucking food stamp line, you poor fucker. You know, that says it's basically,
fuck about you.
Yeah.
Even the
So
apes don't. Even the apes don't give a fuck about you. For real. For real.
yeah.
They don't give a fuck about
Yeah.
nobody that's small right now.
No. And it's like
That
I'm not.
AMC, that whole AMC situation right there was a telltale sign right there. They don't care.
And there's a bunch of people like me who don't have their hands out asking for shit. You understand what I'm saying? They're actually believe in the cause and they believe in all this shit. And a lot of it's the lower level guys. It's the upper level guys who have a problem with what we're saying and treat us like we're stupid. And then, like feel the need to invade every space call that's out there and put their 2 cents worth in. And then come in and like David was telling me, oh, we already told you no. Well, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? You're one guy out of 4 million to tell me fucking no. Go kiss my ass. You know what I mean? Like it's that kind of mentality that shows how disingenuous these people are. You know what I mean? Like when they sit there and say every voice counts, unless you say something we don't like, then back to the fucking food stamp line poor. That's kind of how it was. So
that just doesn't even sound cool to me. I don't even think I want to be a part of no shit like that where they just saying, hey, you don't agree, back to the welfare line. I'm cool.
And then they're gonna act like a hero because they're gonna go tip somebody at fucking MC $20 and be like, look, I did a good thing. I'm such a good person. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what instead of trying to get employees' wages, they're trying to tell people go tip them people. It's not a responsibility to go tip these people. And give them more money out of our pockets. It's a responsibility of the company that they work for to fucking pay them right. It's not our responsibility to go out there and tip. You know what I mean? Like, and I worked in the restaurant business. I've been a server. I believe in tipping, but like not for every fucking job that's out there, and not when there's a company that's making billions on top of this shit or millions or whatever, and then crying for PPP loans and or fucking like government handouts and all this shit, and taking our fucking money again. Not only taking the money we consume, but taking the money we pay our taxes in and feeding it back into their own fucking business, and then not paying the people at the bottom. It's not our job to fucking write those. It's not our job as individuals to go out there and take our money and spend it on every fucking company and every fucking service employee that we come across and tip them. We don't have enough money to do that. The people that have enough money to pay them the actual wages of people running the fucking companies.
Yeah.
I
mean, they're getting it back anyway. If you know what I'm saying, you're gonna get your money back. But AMC, I just don't know, man. It's just it's too much rigmarole for that bitch, man. It's too much it's too much manipulation. It's too many things that gotta go down for that bitch to squeeze. It's just to me, it's just too mind-boggling for me. I got too much other shit going on in my life.
Yeah, if it was just as simple as buy and hold for everybody, it wouldn't be a problem. But they've made it way more complicated. They've put all these roadblocks in our way. Like it's almost like if GME is going to do the same thing AMC is anyway and doesn't have the drama, why wouldn't you jump in GME at this point?
I mean, I would feel more comfortable there.
Yeah, even though the price is higher right now, as far as whatever, but like I'm almost like, well, $5,000 is $5,000 wherever I invested at. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, what matters is the percentage as it jumps up. You know what I mean? Like, so,
exactly.
It's
I mean, I feel you on that too, but I'm just saying that if I had to choose between GME or AMC, I'm going with GME personally. Okay, that has more of a chance. There's not as much manipulation with GME than it is with AMC.
Oh, there is, but not on our side.
It's not as crazy as it is with AMC. AMC is just totally out of control. At this point, and I will feel more comfortable with GME. GME has more of a chance of squeezing. GME can go to $300. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's gonna go to $500, $700, $800. It could jump up $100, and that's not bad money.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, the thing is, GME holders have already proven they'll hold. They'll hold. Like they'll hold like a motherfucker on that shit. Like they won't. They really believe in the mother of all short squeezes, and they pump that shit up to like $500 twice. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't think it was retail selling that was selling going on. I think it was institution selling that was going on. You know what I mean? Like, and there was an article put out that maybe the shorts have covered, but there was an article put out too long ago that the original run up of GME wasn't from the shorts covering; it was just from buying power from people alone. So I don't know how much truth there is in that, but
there's probably some truth to that.
Yeah,
I can go with that. I can go with some of it.
Yeah, but now they have these, Damn.
The
SI. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Damn. 290.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that shit was up there, you know. And
Wow.
AMC had never even come close to touching that. Never come close to touching that.
Well, I
So
wonder what the highest was for AMC for the SI for
I
the
don't know
short.
off the top of my head. I don't know off the top of my head, but
Think it was high
um,
as 290?
fuck no, no, not even close.
Not
Not
even
even
close.
close. It didn't make 3 digits. I don't think, but maybe I'm
Really?
wrong. I don't think it. I don't think it even hit
Wow.
100%. But then that's where the dark pool manipulation and stuff like that comes out. Like a lot of the data we're getting is not complete, so it's really hard to say. You know, GME was 290, right? But that's not even. I don't believe completely accurate. It could have been way higher than
Damn.
that. Still,
You
you know what
said
I'm
it was
saying?
38%. Damn, that's low.
Yeah.
38%. That's sorry. Actually. Damn, that's sorry. They don't. You know what I've been seeing too? I've been seeing a lot of motherfuckers buying calls on AMC, man.
Yeah, and that's
Motherfucker.
another thing. I don't know how those work necessarily, but to me, any calls or options or anything you're doing is actually not very helpful. You know,
No,
anyway.
it's horrible.
Yeah.
They got 65. I'm seeing motherfuckers with $65 calls and $75 calls and shit like that. I'm like, man, I hope they got that motherfucker all the way out to January or something like that. Because if they
Yeah.
think that bitch gonna happen in the next month, they gonna be fucked up out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
You
then
know,
think
it's
about it. Dude said last week when I was sitting there talking to him that people missed out on the money by one fucking penny. They had $40 calls by one fucking penny last Friday. And I sat there and said, man, that is straight manipulation like a motherfucker right there. Just think about it. A person was one penny away from being in the money, and now they shit was all gone. Man, that right there just tells you right there
yeah.
that I
It,
don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be part of no shit
yeah.
like that.
And Bot said calls help if you exercise the shares. If calls help if you exercise to get the shares. That's it. If you exercise to get the shares to help, to help with the buy and hold strategy, why are you putting calls out and taking a 50-50? You should just buy the stock if this is what's about, right? Like,
Because they getting greedy.
yeah,
Because don't you make more money with the options, right? You make
yeah,
more money with
yeah. You
okay.
make more options.
So
Yeah,
therefore they become the apes have become greedy again.
yeah,
They got their hand in a motherfucking cookie jar.
yeah.
And that's what this is. That's what this is about.
So
They don't. So
yeah.
this, you know what this says? It says to me that they don't really give a shit about AMC like they say they do.
Well, when you play calls and options, right? You're just dipping your toe in the water.
Yeah,
You're not about it like you say you are. You're just dipping your toe
exactly.
in the water. And if the water's nice and warm, you're going to step in and take a dip. But if it's not, then you're going to jump back out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's just like, well, you're not really convicted like you say you are. You don't have
Yeah,
this conviction
exactly.
that you say you do for this stock, because you wouldn't buy calls and options. You would just buy the stock straight up, no
Buy
matter
the
what the
stock
price
stock.
is. No matter what the price is, because if you believe that's going to short of these levels, what does it matter what the fucking price is right now? That's what I've heard from months. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, if you really cared, you buy both. You buy shares and options to a certain degree. That's what I would do. I mean, if y'all really believed in this company like that, okay.
Yeah,
If
but
you wanna,
options give you the option to not buy the share. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's what the option is like, it gets up to a certain level, you can buy it or not, right? But it's just the percentages of what you earn are different because of whatever, but
mm,
but my point is like, if you're exercise, like, if you have an option where you can say no to taking that up, then what's the point of doing it? You know what I mean?
mm,
I mean, it's smart investing wise, but I'm saying if you're about the cause and about the squeeze and all this shit, then you shouldn't be doing that shit,
mm.
right? That's the way, because you're just dipping your toe in the water. You're not actually about it, you know. So
Yeah, I think the apes are full of shit. This is a mall ass. Then all these influencers will pour millions into it on one day. They will do a live stream of them buying like they did 10 months ago. Hold if you want, but I wouldn't touch AMC. Yeah,
I'm
I
holding
mean,
for
I,
next leg up because I
I
saw Pelosi's husband put money in there too this recently. So something's gonna happen,
maybe
you
I
know.
don't know. That see to me, this is why I don't trust that. This is one of the reasons why I didn't know that Nancy Pelosi was invested into Tesla. You
Mhm.
know, a day before Joe Biden puts out that infrastructure bill, where he's giving tax breaks to to Ford, GM, and all them other companies for making electric cars.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
By the way, you want to talk about a good investment? Ford right now is a really like I can't believe Ford, the company that up here Fords are big. You know what I mean? Like everywhere I go, Ford's an American brand name at this point. You know what I mean? Like it's synonymous for only $20 a share. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna tell me that Ford, especially with the electric vehicles they're coming out with now and everything like that, that they're not gonna rebound because people. I mean, NASCAR alone loves fucking Ford. You know that crowd of people that follow that sort of sport. The hillbilly redneck, kind of guys love Fords. A lot of them, they Ford, Chevy, all this shit. But I think Ford has a huge, bright future ahead of it coming up. So
the only thing that I'm worried about is this, though, is that I hope them electric cars they're pushing out them electric cars a little too fast. And I don't know if you heard of Kathy Wood.
No, who's that?
She's like a CEO of ARC. It's called ARC Investments or some investment group or something like that. She's like CEO of a major stock company, like a hedge fund, pretty much. And she basically said that the new electric cars are not even on the level of a Tesla made in 2012.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what she said. She said that it was not. It's not even on the level of a 2012 Tesla. That's crazy. So my only thing about them, I think short term.
But Tesla's,
you might be right about Ford being a good company and raising up. But I'm if she's right, I see a lot of recalls on them electric cars in the future.
Yeah, you're probably
like 2-3 years.
But that's going to happen anyway, to a degree anyway, I believe. And you got to realize Tesla is a high-end vehicle. It's not like a Ford. Ford is kind of a name brand.
Man, they're charging a lot of money for them electric cars, man. Like that Hummer.
Oh yeah, but
that Hummer is $140,000.
Yeah,
I mean, electric Hummer.
They'll have a period of time where they have to adjust and they'll have to figure out, just like anything that electronic that comes out in mass production, just like Xboxes. Remember when Xbox used to get the red ring of death and all that shit, and they finally fixed that shit? It's the same thing when it comes out with any new line of electronics once you produce it to the masses. And yeah, I'm sure there'll be some things, but I don't think Ford is a name that's going to go away anytime in the future. You know what I mean? Like I think the 5 years from now, if you bought it at $20, that stock could easily be $200. You know what I mean? Like if you're talking about the value of things and the way they go right now, you know what I'm saying? Like
it's like this: if you bought it at $20, you're not gonna lose no money.
Yeah.
You're not losing no money.
Yeah, I don't want to put like
that. I don't know about 200.
But even if it went up to 100, that's like
you're not gonna lose nothing. It's not a bad investment.
I mean, when I hear Ford and just in my head, you know what I mean, like just taking away all the technical analysis or whatever. But if I was to put a number on what Ford was worth as far as a company itself and investing in the company, it would probably be like $80 to $100 realistic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's a name brand. It's nationwide. It's been around for years. The government will bail them out because they don't want to lose the car companies to overseas a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's not really a lose situation. The worst thing that could happen was like somebody like Amazon decides they want to get in the cars and come along and buy them. You know what I mean? Like that's the worst thing. Or BlackRock or whatever company. You know what I mean? Like I don't see Ford going anywhere, regardless of what happens.
See, if the apes were saying that we were going after the hedge funds because they were trying to short Ford out of business or Chevy out of business, at least that's an American company, and at least Ford has paid its employees enough money to where they can take care of their families.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wouldn't. Then they would have a big. I would agree with them on that if they were trying to short a real American company. AMC is not the company that I'm going to sit there and say.
Wasn't AMC owned by China up until recently?
It probably was. I'm sure
owned by a Chinese company up until recently.
It probably was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So. It probably was. I wouldn't doubt it. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, AMC is not the American company that I would put my booty on the line for. I'm not putting my booty on the line for
and I wouldn't necessarily do it for GameStop either. You know what I mean? But like, this is about, to some degree, of course, it's about money for me. I have to make money. You know what I mean? Like I mean, I'm just going to be real here, guys. I can fight for all these causes I want, but when it comes down to it, I have to actually take care of myself too first, and the more I can take care of myself, the more I can do. If I could get to the point where I could open my grandfather's restaurant again and be able to take care of people in my community and help, like I have a bunch of ideas about how to get back to school and all that stuff, like that's where I would do, you know what I mean? That's what I would do. But not everybody's built like that. You know what I mean? Like, and you got to make do until you can make, you can make it to those levels. I have a lot of shit I have to fix in my life before I get on to helping other people a whole lot. I have to be able, you know what I mean? Like, I've been helping people my whole life. It's my turn now for a little bit to take care of myself. So this is about money in the end to me, to some degree, but it's not all about money. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just about money to me. I would rather after this is all done, like you said, invest in companies I actually believe in and take care of their employees. I'm probably going to get into crypto the next year because for personal money, that's going to be big. You know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, yeah, of course, we're all self-serving in the end to some degree. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, nobody's perfect. Everybody's got their flaws, but I can't be out in the streets. I can sit there, like I can sit there. I'm not the type to be on the corner begging with a sign for change and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's not, I'd rather just live or die by what I do. And that's why, when I talk about doing the show with you guys and everything, if we're going to, I would rather like make money off the market and do this just for fun. So we didn't have to be dictated by the money if this ever got to some point, you know what I'm saying? Like, because then you see it happening with the guys in AMC right now, like Trey, no matter what we say about him, is dictated by his crowd because they're the ones that are making sure his bill is paid. So if they say, we want you to cover AMC and only AMC, he's going to do that. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the way it is. So
I would do, if I was him, I would have done I would still do a show with AMC, but I would also have another show about other shit that I'm into.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem with them doing a show on AMC, but you can do another show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I lost Marco, but yeah, sorry, I kind of don't know what to say right now, but the thing about this whole stuff with all this AMC going on, and I know people I'm sick of talking about it, honestly. Like, I felt like we kind of had to talk about it some because some stuff that happened last week, and I wanted to publicly apologize to Kid and Pone. We had an issue where it sounded like I was speaking for them. That was not my intent, and I apologize to you guys. I did want to say that. I hope if you're watching and you end up listening to this, that was not my intent. That was not that. So I'm not anybody's leader or anything like that, and I wasn't trying to say that. I just was really trying to stick up for you guys in a way, and it just kind of backfired on me a little bit, I guess, because there is a lot of manipulation going on with this stuff. So, I really would love to talk some football with King when he gets back. You guys want to talk some football with Marco if he comes back in the chat? I don't know how many people are watching right now. I can't see from here, but Bot, you got some plays for me, brother? You want to do Bot predicts the future? Nostradamus, the stock god predicts the future. What you got for plays? I'll try to look him up on my phone here. If you got anything. If you ain't got anything, it's good, brother. I understand. Oh, you're back. All right, there we go.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened. My damn thing just shut off on me.
My internet's kicking out too. So, well, I've had about all the AMC talk I can take. How about you?
Yeah, that's cool. We can do something.
You want to do some football real quick?
Yeah, what you got?
All right. Well, what did you think about the Monday night game? The 49ers and the Rams. The 49ers did not look, the Rams did not look very good for Kenton OBJ. Sorry, Bob. We're just going to talk some football now. 49ers getting OBJ was supposed to be this big move and improve their offense, but it didn't look like it improved very much on Monday night. Did you watch the game? Did you have any thoughts about?
I caught bits and pieces of it. Yeah.
Do you think Rams are a contender or a pretender at this point?
I don't trust Matt Stafford.
I don't either. Spent all these years in Detroit and never really posted a winning record, and he had Calvin Johnson for a while there.
Yeah.
And I realize a lot of guys in the NFL talk about like he's a really great throw of the ball and all this, but it never shows up on the field as much as it should. I don't feel like, their actually record is the same right now as when they had Jared Goff last year, I believe.
Yeah, I say Stafford is a little bit better than Jared Goff, but he.
Just experience though. Just experience. He's got way more years experience than Jared Goff.
But Jared Goff did go to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He did. He did do that.
Yeah.
But Matt Stafford's a Hall of Fame quarterback. I don't know about that.
Yeah. I think he's one of those borderline guys like McNabb that'll kind of get in late. Like he won't be a first ballot, but just because of his stat padding over the years, I think.
But
And
he ain't did nothing.
I know,
I mean, at least McNabb went to a Super Bowl and went to NFC championships. But
but a lot of it's the buddy system too, because he's well liked. You know what I mean? Like Matthew Stafford is very popular among the players, and a lot of times, and the media. So, regardless, I think he kind of reminds me of Vinny Testaverde a little bit. Honestly, you think about it.
I don't even know if he's better than Testaverde.
Yeah, I don't know if he's better than Testaverde. I
don't know if he's better than Testaverde.
But he reminded me of Testaverde a little bit.
Testaverde was just in a damn dungeon in Tampa Bay. He probably he saved his damn career when he left Tampa Bay. Testaverde was actually a good quarterback. He was just in a fucked up situation.
He's the best Jets quarterback in the last 30, 40 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually
true. It's true, though. That's true. I mean, and people shit on Sanchez, but Sanchez actually took him back-to-back AFC championship games. They like to point out these 1 or 2 plays he makes that are boneheaded, but, that team, I remember he made a big-time throw against, was the Colts, and that got him to the AFC championship game, I think it was. Oh no, it was the first half against the Colts. They had the Colts on the ropes when the Colts went to the Super Bowl, and they really should have won that game if you ask me. But he was really young too. He was only like 2 or 3 years in. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like he had all this experience behind him. Now he didn't turn out to be that great, but a lot of that can be with the coaching changes and not him having a real great opportunity to go again. But I mean, really, in the last 30, 40 years, Vinny Testaverde, Mark Sanchez are the best 2 quarterbacks the Jets have probably had.
Man, that's crazy.
That's a pretty sad state of affairs, isn't it?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Matt Stafford. I don't know if they're gonna have to rely on that defense. That defense is gonna have to get them through.
Well, I mean, their defense. You got Aaron Donald. You got Von Miller. I mean, they have a lot of names. I feel like they've kind of become like the new Dallas Cowboys, where they get all the name value, but not necessarily the chemistry is there. Not necessarily you have the role players that you need.
Well, they're kind of doing what Tampa Bay did, because Tampa Bay got a lot of name recognition players on their defense.
Yeah, but Tampa Bay also has a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Yeah, I mean,
they brought in somebody that actually has experience in winning. Matthew Stafford has no experience in winning in the league. He has experience in playing in the league, no experience in really winning in the league.
He is kind of better than Goff. I agree with you on that,
but Goff also was only like 4 or 5 years deep into his career. He's not that deep into his career. Stafford's been around for a long, long time. And Stafford's numbers were inflated at first because he had Calvin Johnson at first.
And he should have did more with Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
It's like you got top. To me, I'm taking Calvin Johnson over a lot of receivers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Calvin Johnson was the man. And you got that kind of receiver on your team, man. You should have been. They should have won some playoff games. They should have won a lot of playoff games with them.
Because that division, who was in that division? That division was not that.
Chicago. The only thing they deal with is Green Bay.
Green Bay, yeah. Minnesota pops up once in a while. He's been to the playoffs with Detroit. Yeah, but he didn't win, did he?
He didn't do nothing.
He didn't do nothing.
Has he won a game? I don't think he won a game.
There's a lot of quarterbacks that make the playoffs and never win a game in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Or make multiple appearances in the playoffs and never win a game in the playoffs. Joe Flacco, though, is like the opposite of those guys. He goes in there like Joe Flacco doesn't get. If you want to talk about who's better, Joe Flacco or Matt Stafford, I'll go with Joe. At this point right now, I wouldn't say Joe Flacco, but if you look at over their career, Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco's had a better career than Stafford.
Yeah, might not have the regular season stats, but when it comes to playoffs, he turns into a killer. It's improving. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not even a big fan of his. I'm just saying, like, if you want to put Flacco should go in the Hall of Fame way before Matthew ever Stafford even sniffs that motherfucker. If you ask me.
Yeah, that's
true. When it comes down to it, you can pad your stats in the regular season stats all you want. It matters how you show up in the playoffs in the end. You know what I mean? Like if you're not on a winning team, if you're not winning some playoff games, or at least putting up the same numbers that you put up in the regular season in the playoffs,
I mean, no, I don't know about that one, man. Joe Flacco had a hell of a run when they won that Super Bowl. Yeah. He had a hell of a run. Yeah. Joe Flacco kicked ass in that because they beat the Broncos. And then they beat the Patriots on the road that year.
Yep.
Yeah, they beat the Broncos. They beat Peyton Manning. He went up against Peyton Manning, and then he went up against Tom Brady, and then he went to Foxborough, and they beat the shit out of.
I remember that. Yeah.
So that and he had a hell of a game that game, actually. You know what I'm saying? Flacco had a hell of a game. So I don't know, man. Flacco is. I wouldn't put my money against him in the playoffs.
Well, the Rams, might make the NFC Championship game. They might. I don't know. It's tough to tell. I mean, there's not a lot of. It depends on who they run into. In the playoffs, a
Yeah.
lot of it's matchups. A lot of it. Say San Francisco makes a run and they're like the number 7 seed or whatever, and have to play the Rams in the first round. The Rams going to win that game after last week? I don't know. And Jimmy, they're only getting healthier. The Niners are only getting healthier. So, and I don't know how far out they are in the records right now. But
you actually believe that they better than the Cowboys?
What about Arizona? Arizona.
See, like Arizona. See, they got a lot of. They have to play a team like who's at the bottom. Who's at the bottom right now?
Minnesota, I guess. I don't know. Let me look at the standings here, and
they would have to play a team like maybe like a team like Minnesota. They would have to play a team like a Minnesota for their first game or something. They got to get that bye week. You know what I'm saying? They got to get that. They got to get that bye week.
Oh yeah, no, but a lot of teams, there's a lot of banged up teams right now too. So
I don't know if they're better than the Cowboys though. I don't know if they can get through the Cowboys right now. Dak is balling. The Cowboys is balling, and that defense. That defense, they can get at Stafford. Believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? The Cowboys can get at. I don't know if they're better than the Cowboys.
The Cowboys, as much credit as I hate to give them, might have the best tandem of corners in the NFL right now too. That's another thing is their defense is actually really good right now. I
don't know. They playing like a championship team. I know they got beat by the Broncos last week, but overall, that was really their only real loss that they had. You know what I'm saying? They lost to Tampa Bay, but they should have won that game.
All that Mike McCarthy slander went out the window this year, didn't it? That was happening last year with all the injuries and everything. Carolina, Atlanta, those are the kind of teams we're probably looking at for facing Tampa Bay, Los Angeles in the first round. Philly maybe. There's a lot of teams with losing records right now that will make the playoffs in the NFC if it keeps up the way it is.
So they're gonna have to have a perfect schedule. They can't deal with no like Arizona first round in the wild card, and then they got to deal with Dallas, and then they got to deal with somebody like Tampa Bay. I don't know.
Or hey, Carolina's 5-5 right now. Cam Newton's coming back. You don't know how that could be really as much as people love to shit on Cam is loved, and especially in Carolina, and a lot momentum means everything in sports. You know what I mean? So, you want to go through? Is there any other games last week you want to talk about that really stuck out to you? I mean, the Cowboys killed the Falcons.
That was a beating.
Yeah, that was a beating. Chiefs beat the Raiders. The Packers shut out the Seahawks with Russell Wilson at QB. Let's see. Vikings beat the Chargers. Panthers beat the Cardinals. Panthers beat the brakes off the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Redskins upset the Bucks. That was a big win for the Redskins this week.
I don't know about Tampa. That kind of. I don't know, man. I don't know if Tampa is going to be dominant like they were this year.
No, I don't think so either. Well, actually, let's do this. Let's go through the games. Why don't you pick the games, and then we can talk about what you think is going to come up. What's up, kid? Yeah. Tired of hearing about it. Yeah, we talked about AMC for the first little bit, but we're getting into some football talk now because look, we can't let our lives revolve around that shit either. You know what I mean? So tonight's game, you got the Patriots, the Falcons. I'm taking you're probably picking the Patriots in this game.
I mean, yeah, they winning, ain't they?
I have no idea, honestly. Right now, let's take a look at the score right now.
16-0 Patriots.
Yeah. Now the Patriots are starting to look really good coming into the midseason, and I think this is the time of year where you really see what teams really are. The teams have kind of been banged up, been through the ringer a little bit. You're kind of this time of year is usually when the Super Bowl teams really start coming to the forefront, the real contenders. Patriots have a lot of momentum. They've really put up some big numbers in some games. They put up 45 points last week against the Broncos. The week before that, I think it was, they put up 52 points. Right now, they're up 16-0 on the Falcons. What do you think about Mac Jones? What do you think about the Patriots?
I think Mac Jones is overrated.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I think he's overrated.
Why do you say that?
I just think that Mac Jones is he's living off that defense. Like last week, they put up 45 points last
Mm.
week and didn't even have 200 yards passing. You know what I'm saying? Think about that.
I agree, but like in the same token, he doesn't turn the ball over. He makes smart decisions. He doesn't cost the team. And if you have a defense that good, isn't the job of the quarterback just to not make you lose the game? And that's kind of what he's really good at.
But the thing is that what happens when he goes against a great quarterback? What happens when he goes up against a great quarterback that puts up numbers? And like Dallas, for instance, when they played the Cowboys, they went up. They had that defense had no answer for Dak. Dak was doing whatever he wanted to do on that field.
I didn't watch that game. You may be right.
Okay, they had no answer for Dak. Zero.
But you don't think
zero.
Belichick will have something? Say they make the Super Bowl, because the only way they'll face each other in the playoffs is if both of them make the Super Bowl. Do you think Bill wouldn't have a different game plan to go against, Bill Belichick, one of the greatest defensive minds of all time, wouldn't be able to adjust some?
No, because for one, Dallas can run the ball. Dallas can run the ball, and Bill Belichick is good at taking away your best option. But if Dallas is good at running the ball and Dak can really throw the ball, I don't know. Bill Belichick is going to be in a situation where he's going to give up something. Like they took away the run away from them. They took the run away from Dallas.
And Dallas's wide receiver core is pretty deep, right? I mean, you got Cooper, you got Cooper, you got who else you got? CeeDee Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
You got what's the third guy? I know I can't think about the top of my head.
Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup.
Gallup, he's another one.
Yep. So another dude, Cedric Wilson, he's not bad either. They got a very good receiving core.
Yeah,
and I just think that he had his way against them.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? I just don't think that.
You think the Patriots are making the playoffs?
Depend on their schedule. I mean, even if they do make the playoffs, if they going up against a team with a great quarterback, they're gonna lose, because eventually, in the end, your quarterback got to make a play. Quarterback got to make a play.
Oh, yes.
And Mac Jones.
It's different like nowadays, and like when Baltimore went and they had Trent Dilfer at quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
The rules were a lot different for the defenses back then. You were allowed to hit people coming across the middle. You were allowed to do a lot more than you are now. So it's very hard for your quarterback, when you face an elite team, to not do something now, as opposed to before where he could just hold the ball, run the ball, and that was it, right?
Yeah.
Patriots won't make the playoff spot, says. We'll see. I think the Patriots will make the playoffs, but I haven't watched that much football this year, so my opinions are kind of just from afar, watching the scores and stuff like that. I like what I see out of the Patriots, but I'm partly a Patriots fan too, so fanboy speaking. Next up, we got Baltimore, who's 6-3, taking on Chicago, who's 3-6. Baltimore's favored by 4.5. Who you got in that one?
That's a tough one.
You really think so?
Yeah, that's kind of tough. 4.5. Chicago's 3-6. Chicago's 3-6,
and it's at Chicago.
It's at Chicago's 3. It really don't even matter where it's at. It's 3-6, and versus a 6-3 team, and it's 4.5 point spread. That point spread should be like 8 points. That's it.
You're taking Baltimore then, yeah, on that.
I would take Baltimore, but it's 4.5.
Well, that's if you're saying it should be 8, then the spread is actually lower, so you would take Baltimore, right?
I don't even know if they're gonna cover that spread, because to me, that's a sucker bet. If you ask me,
you think so?
I think it's a sucker bet. They might win the game. I'm not saying they're gonna lose the game, but I don't know if they're gonna cover that point spread.
Well, I don't know if Justin Fields is gonna be playing quarterback in Chicago. The next game, Lamar Jackson seems to be perfectly healthy. I would think Baltimore will probably run the table against these guys. I think they would cover the spread on this easily. I think they win by 2 touchdowns probably. Because
I don't know, we're going into snow too. It's supposed to be snowing this weekend too.
Yeah,
the weather is gonna be fucked up.
But they run the ball so well and in so many different ways. I think that kind of those type of games actually benefit them more than trying to air it out like on a turf game and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, so
4.5. I don't know. I don't trust it. I wouldn't put my money there. I wouldn't put my money there.
You think this is the year Baltimore goes to the Super Bowl? Because you got to have somebody out of the East. It's got to be one of the top teams. There's Buffalo. There's Buffalo. There's Baltimore. Really, it's the Tennessee Titans. Which I think the Titans, if any team will take them out of the playoffs, it'll be the Titans. But
I mean, if Kansas City get their act together, it'll probably be them again.
oh yeah, Kansas City, and they're starting to. They really looked good against the Raiders this last week too, which breaks my heart.
They got the Cowboys this week. That's gonna be a hell of a game.
Yeah, that's gonna be a hell of a game. I kind of want to watch that one. Next we got Detroit, 0-8-1 at Cleveland, who's 5-5, and it's a pick'em game. No spread. Cleveland's got a lot of injuries. Yeah, it's at Cleveland. Cleveland's had a lot of injuries, but Detroit looks like shit this year.
And they got no point spread for that.
No point spread that I saw. It was a pick'em.
Wow.
Yeah, so I would take.
It's actually 10 points.
Is it okay? When I checked last, it seemed like it was a pick'em. I'm sorry. So Cleveland by 10 points. Okay,
11.5. Actually, 11.5.
Oh, I don't know about that. That point spread is a little deep from my pockets.
Yeah, I would.
Detroit is tanking, but like they still probably would sneak out a win somewhere along the line.
I'm gonna say Cleveland covers.
You think Cleveland covers?
I think Cleveland, yeah, because everybody's on their motherfucking ass about how they got beat by the Patriots last week. They got beat 45-7.
Yes, they did.
So this week they're gonna be like, hey, we gotta get back on our motherfucking game this week. We gotta kick some ass. We can't afford to lose to Detroit. Imagine if they lose to Detroit with Baker Mayfield as a starter.
Yeah, and they just got rid of OBJ. Yeah,
that would be Shit, I say Cleveland beats the shit out of Detroit. I think they might cover that.
Do you think that last week's game was kind of because there was a lot of support coming out of the locker room from OBJ, from the Cleveland receivers and the Cleveland team itself? Do you think that was kind of like a fuck Baker moment last week, a little bit, maybe, from the team itself?
It might be a fuck the Cleveland Browns more than Baker Mayfield.
You think so?
Might be.
I like Baker for the most part. I don't really have as much hate against Baker as a lot of people do. I think he's a decent QB. I think, his mouth is big, but, I don't think he's that bad. I've seen some great potential in him, but Cleveland seems to be always a team that has potential over history. How many times have we seen it where they get a decent team together, show some potential, and they dismantle it the next year? Yeah. I remember when they had Brady Quinn and they had what was that white dude, that white running back, the huge guy, Peyton Hillis. Yeah, when they were killing people, and then they had Braylon Edwards and Kellen Winslow and all these guys on the team, and like before Brady Quinn really got a chance to come in there and do anything, they dismantled the whole team and took them apart. I think Cleveland kind of does that. I think they might be working towards that again. So I don't know how the rest of this year will go. I don't really have a lot of hope for them, but we'll see. You think they make the playoffs?
I'm gonna say no.
No. See, the thing is there's more teams in the playoffs this year, right? Or is it not?
I think they still gonna make
it. Seven teams on each side, right? They're gonna make the playoffs this year. So, there's gonna be some guys, especially if things keep up. There's gonna be some guys on the borderline and losing records that are gonna make the playoffs this year. So Cleveland could sneak in, but we'll see.
Knowing their luck, they ain't gonna sneak in.
Yeah, I'm not.
Cleveland's luck is horrible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They Cleveland, they never had no good luck.
No. I feel so bad for them. Like I always root for the underdog teams. The cities that never do. Like Buffalo, I'm very happy is doing pretty well for a change. But
just like last year, you look at last year, the best thing ever happened to him when Patrick Mahomes went out in the first half, and them motherfuckers was stuck with that Chad Henne quarterback, and them motherfuckers had a chance to win this motherfucking game and couldn't do it.
Yeah, no,
couldn't get the job done.
Chad Henne been terrible for a long time. I've seen Chad Henne from the beginning. Yeah, he wasn't. Chad Henne wasn't that special. Like
I was like, y'all can't win this game.
Yeah,
this is a perfect opportunity to win this game, and y'all couldn't win it. That's why they're not gonna do nothing.
But they were a young team last year. I kind of took that like that was a learning, but now they're showing
Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl his second year in the league. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's really no excuse at this point.
We'll get to Russell Wilson in a little bit. I want to talk to you about him too, but but so you don't think Cleveland slides in the playoffs right now the way it is? No,
they don't go to the playoffs.
Right. Next, we got Houston 1-8 at Tennessee 8-2. Tennessee is favored by 10 last time I checked. Tennessee's 8-2 right now. Tennessee, versus Houston Texans. Yep.
Mm, it's a possibility that they might cover that.
I think they're going to totally cover that. I wouldn't be
Yeah, I
surprised if they
think they're
won
gonna
this
cover
game by Houston does not look good this year in
No.
any means, and they're definitely tanking of some sort to get a higher draft pick because they have to deal with the whole Deshaun Watson situation still.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he would have been traded by now, but now it's too late, I believe, to trade him. So they're kind of stuck in this limbo. Winning games actually probably hurts them right now, so I don't see them really putting that much of a stink against Tennessee. And Tennessee is looking really good. Now is Derrick Henry injured right now? Is that?
Yeah, he's out. He's out for the season, I think. Damn near.
Is he out for the season? Oh
I think
wow.
so. Yeah. They got Adrian Peterson gonna be the running back.
Yeah, but they got a pretty deep team as far as their receivers and the defense kind of goes, right? Like they're and what's the coach's name there? Vrabel.
Yeah.
I love Vrabel as a coach. I think he's made some really, really smart. He gets shit on every once in a while, but really smart guy. Nothing but, not even just this year, but for the next 5 years or so, Tennessee is going to be a team to deal with, especially where they got AJ
They need
Brown.
a better quarterback, though. I'm not sold on Tannehill.
I agree. This Tannehill love, I get it from last year. He played very well last year, but they didn't ask him to do much last year, and then I think, I think Tennessee will be the team to take Baltimore out of the playoffs, but I think Tennessee is also the team that will get taken out by the Chiefs so because they just don't match up well against them right now, especially if Derrick Henry's not there to wear that clock down. And Adrian Peterson is great and all, but he's also Trace almost my age at this point. Like
I don't know how he's still around, man.
Man, him and Frank Gore. You see Frank Gore's going into boxing now, though?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that shit. Frank Gore run hard, man.
Yeah.
All right, next up we got Green Bay, who is 8-2 at Minnesota, who is 4-5. Green Bay is favored by only 2 in this one, so it's a field goal. They're favored by basically. Now the Packers last week's defense. A lot of people say that Aaron Rodgers doesn't necessarily get the help he needs a lot of the time, which I disagree with totally. I think he gets plenty of help. I think he's got great receivers. The defense last week showed up. The defense looked better this year than last year's, I believe. Really a contender. Aaron Rodgers, love him or hate him, he's one of the best quarterbacks out there. He's going to give him a shot no matter what. I wouldn't be surprised if Green Bay came up the NFC.
I don't know why the hell is they. I mean, it's down there going to be a pick'em game because now I'm seeing it at 2 points. Now I'm seeing it at 1 point.
Yeah. Well, it's in Minnesota on the turf. Minnesota's 4-5. They really need this win right now. Green Bay actually needs it too, though, if they want to stay ahead in the conference. So, but Minnesota has had Green Bay's number every now and then, and this could be a trap game for them, kind of, especially where they're coming off the high of shouting out Seattle. Even though Seattle's record's not that great this year, I think people consider them a pretty solid team still.
Yeah.
It's really going to be a tough game to pick. It really is.
That's a division opponent.
Mm-hmm. And I don't remember if they played once already this year. I don't know who came out on top of that game, if they did.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah.
I probably would go with Green Bay with the point spread. I probably would take Green Bay with the points, but it's a division game. I wouldn't put a whole bunch of money on it.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you there. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's not going to be a blowout by any means. It'll be a tough game, but it'll be a good measure to see where they're kind of at after last week,
Yeah, I will wait till the very end, like 1 o'clock. This game at 1 o'clock, I'll probably be placing a bet at like 12:30 with this game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If it goes to 1 point, I will take Green Bay with the 1 point spread.
And Minnesota, and this might not be the last time they see Minnesota. Minnesota might slide, even if they lose this game where there's, a couple teams with losing records, they might slide in the playoffs again and have to see them again. So they might have to beat them 3 times this year.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised to see, because I'm not a big Kirk Cousins fan. It's kind of like, it's more of just like a battle of attrition of who's going to make it to the end of the season and what, and I think Minnesota is one of those teams that kind of hang around. Next up, we got New Orleans Saints, who are 5-4 at Philadelphia Eagles, who are 4-6, and Philadelphia is actually favored in this by 1.5. Is Jameis Winston out for this game?
He's out for the season.
He's out for the season. Oh wow, lots of big injuries this year, huh?
Yeah, he's out for the season.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts, is he starting for Philadelphia this week?
I thought he was. Would he hurt too?
I'm not sure. I haven't kept up. I know he was kind of in and out for a while. I thought.
No, he started because they won. They beat the Broncos last
Yeah.
week.
Oh yeah.
So
What do you think
you
of
know
Jalen Hurts as a QB? You think he's all
he's
right,
all
or
right. He's not bad.
yeah,
I think they need to.
average kind of?
He could be better if they surround him with some better pieces. I think they. I think they still need to revamp their offense a little bit. They got some decent
Well, they were
pieces
built
there.
for Carson Wentz for all this time. You know what I mean? Like really.
Yeah,
And Carson Wentz's skill set is totally different from Jalen Hurts'
yeah,
skill set. So I think Jalen Hurts has probably done a decent job for what he's surrounded with at this point. You know,
yeah. I think he'd be all right.
yeah. And
I,
the Saints are a deep team, but with quarterback troubles, I don't know how far they'll go. They might have been already peaked this season and be on the downwards trend.
they're gonna try and rely on defense this week. I think they're gonna try and rely on their defense to get them through Philadelphia. I'm gonna say New Orleans wins this game.
You think so? New Orleans on the road. All right.
Yeah, I think New Orleans gonna win
All
this
right.
game.
And Washington coming off their big win last week. They were 3-6. They're going into Carolina with newly acquired Cam Newton, 5-5, and Carolina is favored by 3.5.
I got Carolina in this game.
I do too. I don't see with Cam coming back, and I think he'll probably be starting this week. I'm not 100% sure on that.
That's what they said they were. They said
Yeah. Washington came off a huge win last week. That was their Super Bowl this season.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be a letdown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they're probably would love to be the spoilers again. I don't know if they have enough in the tank to get the job done. I see Carolina winning.
I think they stomped them. I think they stomped them.
Well, Washington ain't no pushover. They're 3-6, but they're not pushovers. The defense
they lost
is pretty
Chase
good.
Young though. Chase Young is gone for the season.
Oh, yeah. Eesh.
They lost him.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna stomp them.
So you think Carolina by 2 touchdowns then?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was like 31-13 or some shit like that.
If I was everybody in the NFC, this team I would be scared of at this point is Carolina.
Yeah.
They will. I don't know if they'll go to a Super Bowl, but they'll take somebody out in the playoffs. They probably should.
Yeah.
They actually, if you ask me, they actually match up against Dallas pretty well.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And if anybody's going to take Dallas out, as much as I hate to make Dallas a Super Bowl pick, if anybody's going to take Dallas out, it's either going to be Green Bay or it's going to be these guys. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what it comes down.
I can agree with that. Yeah, they need to stay away from Carolina if they get to the playoffs.
Yeah, and Dallas and Green Bay will be an interesting matchup because of the history with Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
too. That'll be. We'll get to them in a little bit though. But so you got Carolina. I got Carolina too on that. San Francisco 4-5, coming off another team coming off a huge win last week. Going into Jacksonville, who's 2-7. San Francisco's favored by 6.
I'm gonna say San Francisco wins, but I don't think they're gonna cover.
You don't think they're gonna cover? I'm with you on that. San Francisco seems to be a team that either play down or play up to their level of competition.
Yeah.
They're 4-5. They need the win. I think they'll get the tough win. I think they might be another team that might sneak into the into the playoffs. And
I think they're gonna be riding on that same high that they had from beating the Rams. I think the Rams is going to probably emotionally drain them.
Well, the difference between 49ers and Redskins is 49ers have been there before. Most of this team is still got Super Bowl DNA in them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they know what they're in for the rest of the year. And I think the Rams was a good momentum win. I don't think it wasn't their Super Bowl necessarily.
Yeah.
It was, Washington's game was like that Super Bowl. That's like Tampa Bay is the champions last year. Going there, we're going to play our best game this year. Show everybody that we can compete with the best. And that,
Did they play Monday night, right?
Who, the Rams and 49? Yes, they played on Monday night.
Okay. Then they got to go on Sunday. They play in a 1:00 game. They play in a 1:00
on the East
game.
Coast. On the East Coast. Yeah. Which, coming from the West Coast, teams do have a history of trouble. But I think, like you said, I think they'll tough it out by like a field goal or something like that. It won't be nothing dramatic.
That's what I said. They might not cover. They might win, but I don't think they're gonna cover.
Yeah. Next up, we got the Cincinnati Bengals, who are 5-4 at the Las Vegas Raiders. 5-4. Cincinnati's only.
I'm going to Cincinnati.
Yeah, I got it too. As much as I want to love the Raiders. I want to love Derek Carr. I do, but there's just so much, and with all the stuff going on with Gruden and stuff like that, they could make the playoffs this year. I want to believe in Derek Carr, but it just seems to be just almost there, but never quite. You know what I mean? Burrow though is the real deal. I don't know. Burrow's not hurt again, is he? Burrow's back
I
now,
don't
right?
think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Cincinnati's young team, they've had some struggles, here and there, but they win 2 or 3 games last year, and here they are 5-4 this year.
Yeah.
Um, we'll see how they do for the rest of the year. They're going to have some struggles. I think they'll be a playoff team, though. I really like Burrow, though. Burrow's going to be a really good quarterback for years to come. He could be the Peyton Manning to Mac Jones' Tom Brady in the future, even though you don't like Mac Jones. But I think that's the rivalry we'll see for.
Mac Jones got to do better, man, because his arm is weak. See, that's another thing. He ain't got no arm. He can't really throw that bitch. He'll never be a gunslinger throwing that ball 50, 60 yards.
I think big arm is a little bit overrated, though. We'll get into a discussion about that some other time, where where I place Marino and Manning and those guys, at least in my list, as compared to like Brady and some other people. You know what I mean? Like, because I think big arm, like Jay Cutler was always this guy that had a great big arm, but he didn't have the brains behind it. I'd rather have somebody that didn't have as big arm and better brains behind it than a guy who just can like Stafford's another example of that to me. A guy that can check it all over the place, but when it comes to calculated risk, he doesn't always, in the best moments, do the best job of calculating.
A lot of them had big arms, though, man. A lot of the great quarterbacks had great arms, man. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers had a great arm. Tom Brady had a great arm.
Aaron Rodgers, I hate to jump on he may be the best QB of all time, but as far as like talent wise, the way he was able to just throw the ball with accuracy and on the move too, he was the best. I will say this about Aaron Rodgers: he's the best quarterback when it comes to rollouts.
Yeah,
and Patrick Mahomes was quickly getting there too, but Aaron Rodgers, once he made that pocket move and the way he could throw the ball on the run, unlike anybody else I've ever seen ever do it.
Yeah,
and in the pocket, Brady's a killer. Outside the pocket, Rodgers is a killer. So. Next game up is Arizona 8-2 at Seattle, who is 3-6. Arizona's favored by 2.5. Seattle just got shut out last week. They're going to come out angry. Arizona's a little banged up. This could be a trap game for them, I feel like.
I don't know, man. I wonder if Russell Wilson's heart is still in Seattle.
I don't think it is. I think last year, the one went down with all the shit with him and the Seahawks. I think that was, but the thing is he's got to, I think he has to win this game, because if he really wants to get out of Seattle and wants to get a big payday somewhere, he has to show that his ability to pull his bootstraps up and carry this team on his back somewhat for big wins here and there, and his market value is only going, like, if Seattle finishes with a losing record this year, and especially after getting shut out last week against the Green Bay Packers, Russell Williams' market value does nothing but go down. He needs to string some wins together and against some better competition. And, I think hopefully
his past, what he's done in his past is if you see Russell Wilson on the market, he lasts he lasts 6 hours on the market. He lasts 6 hours. There's a plenty of teams that
I agree.
Like put him in Cleveland with the Browns. You put him in Cleveland, even though I'm not saying he's going to go there, but just imagine him with the Browns. If you put Russell Wilson with the Browns, with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt and those guys, man, he's a monster.
Well, you might be right. The thing is, as far as Russell comes, he's never been, okay, let's put it this way. He could carry the team on his back for a certain point in the portion of the regular season against cream puff teams, like last year. In the beginning of the year, he had all these MVP talk. He faced a lot of not so great teams and put up great numbers. When it comes to him putting the team on his back, he's never been that guy. He's never been that guy to lead them in the playoffs. He's never been that guy. When they had the playoff run, it was Marshawn Lynch. It was those guys. It was the defense that really took him to the next level.
I don't know about that, man.
I'm not saying he played terribly or anything. I'm just saying he made the right plays for the most part. But
you think Matt Flynn would have won them that Super Bowl?
I don't know. It's tough. I don't want to say yes or no, because Matt Flynn has never really been able to show anything. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he's had a bunch of back jobs, and I understand he loses out. I'm not saying, okay, let's put it this way. They wouldn't have won a Super Bowl with Matt Flynn. But would they have won a Super Bowl with somebody like, say, let me think of somebody. I'm trying to go through the list, but like say Ryan Tannehill
No,
or somebody like that. You think you
no,
don't? You put Russell? Do you put Russell in like your top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now? Because I
I
don't.
do. I
You
do.
do?
Yeah.
I don't. I don't. And I've seen a lot of his games. I love him. I think he's a great player and all. I just don't think he's as elite as he's made out to be.
Russell Wilson, that dude.
Mm, I don't know.
I'm about to say that Russell Wilson is that dude
Uh,
because they went from being an average team. Pete Carroll was damn near on his way out of Seattle. Russell Wilson and show. Think how
Yeah.
good Seattle. Think how
Good
good
point.
Russell Wilson was. Okay, in his
Yeah.
rookie season, his rookie year when he gets drafted, he played so good in preseason that they benched a player that they just signed. They just signed
Yeah.
Matt Flynn to a brand new contract.
But
Just signed him.
the thing I look at though is Russell. All the time in Seattle he's been there, the team itself has never loved Russell Wilson. When it was Marshawn Lynch and the defense, I'm talking about his own teammates. There's a huge portion of them that didn't like him, and now in the last couple of years, that's kind of started to show up again, and that's where I have a concern with Russell Wilson as a quarterback, because it seems like there's always some sort of drama going on between him and the team in terms.
Well, to be honest with you, Marshawn Lynch and Richard Sherman, those guys are kind of, brash.
Oh, I agree. I love them. Yeah,
they're cut from a different cloth than Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is not.
Well, they're pit bulls. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
They're pit bulls. They're like that.
That's what it was. That's what Seattle was had a lot of pit bulls on their team, and that I can see why that they didn't.
But that's the way they build their team. I think they have a lot of pit bulls on their team right now. I think too. You just don't see it.
So send it to a team that don't have as many pit bulls like that. I mean, put them on a team that where the guys just come to work and they're not focused in on social activism and stuff like that.
Do you think Miami would be a good fit for him?
No.
The Dolphins?
No.
What if you were Russell Wilson and you went free agency next year? What team would you target realistically that doesn't have a quarterback already set in place? What team would you target realistically? Is it Cleveland? Is it let's see.
No, because their management is horrible.
Minnesota? Maybe they split ways with Kirk Cousins this year.
I think he wants to go to a market where it's somewhat big.
Atlanta?
That Atlanta might be too black for him.
You think? Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Let's see. Who else? New Orleans. New Orleans could.
That's a possibility.
That is a possibility because he's very similar to Drew Brees in the way they throw and the way they control.
I don't know if you want to go to New Orleans though. New Orleans is just such a backwards town to where I don't know.
Yeah, but he wants that love though. You understand? New Orleans, if he brings them a winner, they will love the fuck out of him. So. And Sean,
personally, I would go to the Raiders.
You think so?
I would go to the Raiders or the Broncos.
I don't think the Broncos are. I'm just sorry. I just don't see the Broncos.
The Broncos got a nice team. I mean, I would go to the Broncos if I was Russell Wilson.
You think so?
That would be the team I would look at would be the Denver Broncos.
I would. My personal choice would be Miami. I think it fits his style. It fits his. Sierra. You got to think about his wife. This big music industry shit going on in Miami.
They management is horrible, man.
Yeah.
If I'm Russell Wilson, I got to look at the management. Miami's management is. There's a reason why they've been sorry for 20 years, man.
Where did Brian Flores coach before he got in Miami though? Wasn't he?
He was in New England.
New England. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you might be right. We'll find out next year what goes on. He might end up staying in Seattle. Maybe they'll kiss and make out finally, and actually make some shit. But I don't see that. I think his time in Seattle is done for.
I think it is too.
Yeah. So who you got? Do you have him winning this week though? Do you have him winning against Arizona?
Is Kyler playing?
Is what?
Kyler Murray. Is he playing?
I am not sure, but I'm going to say the spread is pretty low, so I'm going to say probably no. Let's see. Trying to see if I can find out real quick.
I think I can find out. Hold on. I think they was saying that he was going to play.
I think I saw something that too, but I think it's a game time decision, if anything.
Kyler Murray stays questionable.
questionable. So,
Mm-hmm.
and they have Colt McCoy still, right? Who's a decent backup. He can win a game or two.
He's questionable too.
Oh, whew. That's probably why the spread
They
is too low.
got a lot of injuries, and it's only 2-point spread.
Yeah.
And Russell Wilson is playing. That's kind of weird.
So you're gonna take? I would take Seattle in this game. I think this will be the upset this week. I think I'm not sold on Arizona.
Not really an upset if they ain't nobody playing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Arizona's still an 8-2 team. But I'm not necessarily sold on Arizona either. I think they have a lot of holes in their team still. I think they have a lot of talent. They play defense pretty well. They got Hopkins in the receiver. They're one of those teams that could beat anybody, but could be beat by anybody too. If you ask me, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So
probable. So I guess I would take Seattle, but that's kind of weird though.
Yeah, well, I think it has most to do with injuries too, because J.J. Watt's out for the year in Arizona too. But I don't think he was making that huge a difference in their team, besides maybe being a leader. Next up, Indianapolis, who is 5-5, taking on Buffalo, who is 6-3. Buffalo's favored by 7 in this game, from what I'm seeing.
That's another one. Indianapolis been playing pretty good football lately.
Yeah,
and they didn't got back in this thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and Buffalo's been kind of slipping lately. Everybody was kind of, Buffalo came out hot out the start, and they've kind of struggled recently, right? I mean,
I'm gonna go with Buffalo on this one.
You're gonna take Buffalo. It's in Buffalo. There's probably gonna be some snow on the ground.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Buffalo on this one.
By 7. I can't take Buffalo on this one. I have to take Indianapolis to at least cover the spread in this one. I think it's gonna be a lot closer game than.
I think it's gonna be a blowout.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a blowout. I think Buffalo gonna beat the shit out of them, because I think they're gonna get back on track, and the money is probably gonna be on Indianapolis to cover that spread, because Buffalo ain't really been doing nothing.
No, and Patriots are catching up to them. So if the Patriots win tonight, they'll put Patriots at 7-4. If Buffalo loses this weekend, that puts them at 6-4. If they win, it puts them at 7-3. So there's only a half a game difference between those guys right now. And Buffalo, the history with the Patriots and everything. They're going to be playing hard to make sure they don't fall into the same trap they fell into in years past. So, but I still like
Buffalo with the points.
Yeah, I like Buffalo to win, but I don't like them to cover the spread. I think it'll be a tough game for them.
I think they're gonna cover.
Yeah.
Next, they're gonna beat the shit out of them, I think.
Yeah, the next game we got is the game of losers, really. Miami, who's 3-7, against the Jets, who are 2-7. Miami's favored by 3. I don't know who's starting at QB for the Jets. I don't think it really matters at this point. Zach Wilson's questionable.
They said Joe Flacco starting.
Oh, Flacco's starting. I'll give Flacco a win this week. I would give Flacco a win. Miami's not that great. Flacco, he wants to keep going in the league, so he's got to show out now and then, so at least keeps a backup job,
I'll go with the Jets, even though I wouldn't put no money on this motherfucker, but I'll go with the Jets.
What do you think of their kid, Zach Wilson? Do you think he's all right? You think he's all right? You think he's going to be good for them in the future, or you think it's just another blow?
I don't know what it is about him right now. I think they just have to have a little more patience with him. That's what is pretty much going on. I think so.
Yeah,
I think
New York's a hard market to have some patience in.
Yeah, he got all the intangibles to be a good quarterback. DT, what's going on, big dog? I'm a Dolphins fan.
We beat them Man, I liked you so much. You said you were a Dolphins fan. No, I'm just kidding. 24. Yeah, with against Flacco. Yeah, but I don't know. Flacco's still got 1 or 2 good games left in him.
Yep.
That's
what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Flacco gets a win.
And Miami last year was a completely different team. Miami was completely different. I think that was a time when they probably had Fitzpatrick at quarterback, right? When they beat him last year.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick. You had either him or Tua, one of the two.
I think it was Fitzpatrick at quarterback last year when he kind of got on that hot streak. Because Miami started out like 1-4, 1-5, or something like that. They didn't start out that well this year. They got
to the playoffs that year last year, too.
Yeah, they came on late in the season. One of the major games of the weekend, the Dallas Cowboys 7-2 taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 6-4. Kansas City is favored by 2.5, so basically a field goal.
Tough one.
Yeah, it's in Kansas City.
That's tough.
It's going to be a tough game.
That's tough. Flacco has no chance. Maybe.
You might be right, but
It's possible. I wouldn't really.
Miami could be one of these late season teams again. Take a run. It's the season ain't over with yet, so they could get on. This could be a start of a streak for them. I think it's a pick'em game either way in that Jets game. I really do. But like I said, I'm just kind of hoping Flacco's get one for the old time's sake in them, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But Mahomes has struggled some this year, but he seems to be picking it up now. Dallas has looked really good, but Dallas has been front runners before in this position.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the time of year they kind of start showing who they really are. And I think this speaks for all teams right now, is that you kind of show who you really are. Are Dallas everything they have projected to be so far, you think?
Yeah.
You think
offensively they are.
And the defense?
The defense, I want to say yeah, but I need to see a little bit more out of the defense, a little bit more to see if they can hold up. But offensively, I don't think they have any problems offense.
Yeah, I agree.
It's going to be a shootout, I believe, with Kansas City. I'm going to take Kansas City with the points. I think Kansas City somehow pulls this game out.
I think Kansas City wins this too. I think you're right. I think it becomes a shootout. I hate Dallas as a team, honestly. I've always been like a Dallas Cowboy hater, but I can objectively look back and see that they have a really good team. I don't know. It's just hard to buy into them, though. It's hard to buy into the Cowboys because they've been in this position so many times before and come up, short.
Mm-hmm.
This will be a game to tell us where the Cowboys are at this year. I think if they lose this game, I think it'll be a crush to them. I think it'll be crushing for them to lose this game, honestly, because
it depends on how they lose.
Yeah,
if they lose like 27-17 or 27-10 or some shit like that, then yeah. But if they lose like a 34-31, something like that, I don't think they're gonna hold their head down. Because at the end of the day, it's still Kansas City.
I think it becomes a psyche thing, because if it becomes like a last second thing, where it's a last second touchdown or a last minute field goal or something like that kills them, I think that's just as damaging in a lot of ways to that particular team, the way their psyche has been built over the last couple of years, because it's just them coming up short in a big game again, no matter which way it falls out.
Mm-hmm.
I think if there's a must-win game on the Dallas schedule this year, this is the must-win game, because it shows them everybody where they're at. It shows them where the bar is at this year. If they can't keep up with Kansas City with all the momentum they've got, with they just came off a 43-3 victory against the Falcons, which is a tune-up game. This is what they should be doing. They should be beating the Falcons like that. If they really want to be Super Bowl contenders, they have to win this game, I feel like. Because
I hear what you're saying.
If you can't beat Kansas City right now, how are you going to handle Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in the playoffs? Especially if you lose home field. If you lose this game, the chances are you're probably not going to have home field advantage if you face the Packers, because the Packers are probably going to be the number one seed again.
Well, I just think that Kansas City is a hard place to win.
It is, but this is what championship teams. This is what they do. They go in as
hard as Foxborough. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, but you gotta pull up the bootstraps and get it done at some point. And Dallas, especially with Dak, Dak's not a young spring chicken anymore. Like, he's still a young guy, but he's not. He's been around for a couple of years now. Ezekiel Elliott, he's one of the. I don't know if he's hurt again right now or whatever, but he seems to be in better shape this year than he was last year. The team is deep. They have no excuse. I mean, they have the two best corners probably as far as a tandem go in the league right now. There's no excuse for them not to win this game. Even if you have to go and be able to go on the road and win these games, I think. But I see Kansas City just doing it to them at the end. I see Patrick Mahomes, especially because they need the victories right now. They need to get on a run right now. So, and Kansas can still recover from losing this game. They can still recover from losing this game. Dallas, I don't know, man. I think if they lose this game, it does so much damage to their psyche at this point. Sunday night football, we got 5-3-1. The Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the 5-4 LA Chargers. LA Chargers are by 5.5 favored. I don't think Roethlisberger is playing this week. Maybe I'm wrong, or he was out for COVID, so probably he is playing this week.
He'll probably play.
Yeah,
if he's vaccinated, he'll play. So 6 points. Well, I'm gonna say the Chargers might win this game, but I don't know if they'll cover. I'm not sure if they'll cover.
Yeah, Chargers. Like, I really like the team. I like Herbert, their quarterback. Seems like he's going to be one of the better young quarterbacks to come out in a long time. But they're another team. They're kind of similar. Who was I talking about this before? Where they play up or down to their competition a lot of the time. You know, like
I know you're talking about.
Who was it? Was it the Saints or the 49ers? The 49ers.
49ers.
Yes. But I think LA is kind of similar into that. Like, I mean, it was like this. It's really no different than when Phillip Rivers was there for years. Like, you know, they all somehow the Chargers always end up down by 7 with 3 minutes to go or something like that. You know, like or with 90 yards to go and 2 minutes to go or something like that. It seems like their games kind of always take that tone for a lot of the most part. They just came off losing to the Vikings last week. Pittsburgh, I don't know, man. I just can't. Pittsburgh, there's just something about it. Like, I think Tomlin's a great coach and he keeps them in the fight no matter what, you know. But I just don't know if they have the guns to hang with the Chargers in this game.
I think Ben Roethlisberger washed up.
Yeah, I think last year they should have taken the opportunity to get. I think they should have taken the opportunity to get Ben out of there when they had the chance last year.
Yeah.
And now they're stuck with him again this year, and they're winning right now, you know. But with injuries, you know, the deeper they go in the season with a guy like Ben, who's been beat up so much, those injuries become more and more prominent the deeper you get in the season. We saw it last year. We're seeing it again. You know, I know it's COVID right now related, but you're going to see it again by the end of this year, where Ben just kind of wears down at the end of the year, and then when you get to the playoffs, you're getting your ass kicked. You know.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna say Kansas City covers that.
You mean the Chargers cover that?
Yeah, the Chargers. I'm sorry, the Chargers. Yeah. I think they might cover that. Might cover that. Me personally.
Then finally on the Monday night game, we got the Giants, who are 3-6, going into Tampa Bay with 6-3. Tampa Bay is favored by 11 points in this game. Who you got?
Probably cover it.
You think they'll cover this game?
Yeah, they probably cover that shit because they took a beating. They took a beating to the Washington Redskins. And let's say, for instance,
Brady ain't taking that shit. I can tell you right now. Brady is not taking that shit. He never has, never will. He come out the next week stomping.
He can't afford to lose because if they do that, they'll be 6-4. And let's say Carolina wins, they'll be 6-5.
Yeah, and then you got New Orleans. If they win, they'll be 6-4 too.
Yeah, so they can't afford it.
Yeah, and not only that, I'm sure they want home field advantage in the playoffs. So they still got to leapfrog Dallas, Arizona, and Green Bay if they really want that home field advantage. So. And I'm not. There's no way they're getting the number 1 seed, but a number 2 or 3 seed might be possible. You know what I mean? Like, that's the best they can hope for right now.
The only thing I would say about this 10.5 point spread is that it's a Monday night game, and I'm kind of leery on betting with a high spread like that on Monday night.
Yeah, and the Giants, you know, are one of these teams who kind of the opposite of what I was saying with some other teams. They play up to their competition a lot of the times. You know, like it's not. I don't think it's going to be the pushover games. I don't know if Daniel Jones is starting, but I don't think this game is necessarily going to. I think Tampa Bay wins. I think they win by 10. I think they just fall under the spread. You know what I mean? Like, because Tom Brady is going to come out angry, but Tom Brady ain't Tom Brady he used to be either by any means. Just because, you know, he'll put up big numbers. I'm not sold on the Bucs defense necessarily right now at this point either. If you can't stop Washington. And that Tyler Heinicke, and I get some matchups are just weird sometimes in the way things work out. But I think Tampa Bay wins us handily, but not as. Yeah, you can't. The Giants gave them troubles last year, and Tampa has a lot of injuries. Exactly. So I think I think they're going to win handily still, though. I don't see Brady and the crew going into 2 weeks in a row looking like shit. That rarely happens with a Brady-led team.
Yeah, they'll win that game. I don't know. They might not cover though.
Yeah,
like you said, they might win by 10 points. They might win by 10 points. They might win like 24-14 or some 24-14. Yeah, some shit like that.
Yeah, I think it's about right. All right, I might have to go back through and watch this and take down your picks. We'll have to come back next week and see how we did. We did it. Any basketball you got this week on the mind before we get out of here? I got to get out of here.
No, we could do some. What's this tomorrow? Hold on, let me see. Any games on tomorrow? Well, it's a full slate tomorrow. Well, nothing really big. Ain't no big games tomorrow.
No.
You got the Lakers versus Boston.
What do you think about the Lakers this year?
Oh man,
the mess. They're a mess, aren't they?
They're a mess.
They're a mess.
They're a mess. They're not
Yeah,
going.
they're going to get knocked out of the playoffs pretty early this year. I think Golden State, on
I
the other
don't think
hand,
they go into the playoffs.
you might be right. Golden State though, looking really good coming into
Golden
the
State,
form right
yeah,
now.
Golden State gonna be a
And
problem.
and is Clay back or is he coming
Nope.
back still? He
He's
hasn't
coming.
even back yet, right?
Nope.
And they're blowing teams out. That team, man, as long as Seth and Curry stays, either Seth. I don't think the team is so deep right now. Just as long as Seth or Clay is healthy at this point, they're gonna be a problem to deal with. No matter they could afford to lose one of those guys and still be okay. I feel like
Yeah, they need Steph. They need Steph to be there though, in order for them to go. I think it's gonna be Golden State versus Brooklyn in the finals.
You think Brooklyn still?
Somehow, some way, they gonna
think
clean it
Durant's just gonna carry him to the I want to say Boston. I'm not trying to show like hometown love here, but I like
Boston.
I like the team. I like Brown and Tatum. I like those guys the way they play. I like Rozier. I don't think Rozier's on there anymore, but no, he's in Charlotte now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but Marcus Smart is still there. I know people think he can kind of I don't know, I love those players that kind of get in other players' heads some, and Smart's very good about doing that. But I haven't watched enough of them this year. I just
They missing a point guard. They need a point guard.
Yeah,
they need a Chris Paul point guard type point guard to make that thing go.
Chris Paul is where this year? He is in Phoenix. That's right. Yeah, Phoenix. Now they're not. Are they still playing as well as they were last year at this point?
They are.
They're up there. Yeah, Chris Paul. I want to hate on Chris Paul. I really do. But man, he's like what he did with OKC the year before, and then Phoenix. I mean, that guy you can't deny him anymore. I used to think he was overrated. If anything, he's shown he's been underrated the last couple of years.
That's what the Celtics need. They need a true point guard.
Yeah, because Kemba ain't doing it. Kemba ain't doing it.
Well, he's not there either. He
wasn't doing it last year. Nope. Who's their point guard now? Then is it Smart? Can't be Smart.
They interchange it with Schroeder and somebody else.
Oh, Schroeder.
Yeah, but they need a true point guard. That's what they need. They need a floor like Kyle Lowry. They need a Kyle Lowry kind of point guard. That's what they kind of need.
So what makes you so sold on the Nets coming out of the East though?
I just think that in the end it's just good for TV.
You think Kyrie will be back by then?
Somehow, because I think they're gonna ban them vaccine mandates. Mandates. They're gonna ban that shit.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so many people fighting back against it now. It's kind of hard to. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see though. I think Brooklyn's one of those teams, kind of like Houston was back in the day. And I'm talking about recent Houston. I'm talking like when Houston got Clyde Drexler and Charles Barkley and Hakeem Olajuwon all together.
Yeah.
And they didn't really win again. Yeah, do nothing. I think that's like. I like Durant. I think Durant's a little bit overrated. I'm not saying like he's not great and all that. I just think that with a team, when you had like Russell and Harden and him all together on the same team, I think they should have done more with that. And I don't know. I like Durant, but I think he's a little bit overrated at the same time. I don't think he's a type to necessarily carry a team on his back for a duration of a series, as opposed to, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I'm just talking my ass in this, but I don't know. I just don't believe in Brooklyn. I just don't believe. I've never been a believer in Harden, and
with them taking that beating that they took from Golden State a couple of days ago, that might have woke them up and let them know that hey, y'all better get on y'all shit, man, because Golden State came in there and beat the shit out of them.
Well, there's this thing that goes on in the league, and a couple of guys are guilty of this, is where they don't take the regular season very seriously sometimes. Durant's on that page. LeBron can be on that page sometimes, and who else was I thinking of that's kind of on that same, where they don't necessarily take the regular season too serious until it's almost too late in the season and they build up a run, at the end of it.
I think they circle those kind of games. I think now if it's Brooklyn versus the Cavaliers, they don't give a shit whether they win or lose.
Yeah.
But when it's Golden State or
you want to show out for the good game.
You want to show those games count.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's hard to flip that switch all of a sudden a lot of time. Some people can do it.
Yeah.
you know, but
But
like,
I think they circle that motherfucker. They circle that
oh
game.
yeah,
Like, oh yeah, I
yeah,
can't wait for that game. I'm balling in that game.
oh yeah, any
Or
game,
Milwaukee or somebody like that. They
yeah.
they circle those games, but against the New York Knicks or something like that, they
Yeah.
might not give a shit about that.
Well, the
They
Knicks
might
aren't
not
looking
give.
too bad this year,
Yeah,
actually.
but they still might
Yeah,
not care. They might if they
yeah,
doing a back to back or something like that.
yeah, they might.
They'll sit
Yeah,
there and say, you know what, fuck the Knicks. They can have this game.
yeah.
They can have it. I'm not about to
Oh,
overextend myself in this.
Kawhi Leonard was the other guy I was thinking of like that too.
Yeah.
Kawhi's like that way. You just think he can flip it on at any point.
Mhm.
And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. You know, that's I think. You know, I don't know. I'm from the old school era where it's Jordan. You play every night. You play hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this is a
They can't
different
do
age.
that, man. They see the after effects of the older guys that played that
You're right.
did that stuff, and they saw that these people got hip replacements, and people
No, you're
dying
totally right. You're
of
totally right.
heart disease and stuff like that. It's a lot of different reasons why they don't go do 82 games anymore. They looking at the after effects when they become 50 and 60 years old, and then their bodies busted up like Doc Rivers. That dude walking with a limp now.
Oh
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah, he got it.
Well,
He
Bill
definitely.
Walton. Bill Walton. I mean,
Yeah,
look at
same
you
thing.
know,
Phil
like
Jackson was walking
Phil
with a bad.
Jackson. You know,
Yeah, he
like
was walking with a badass hip and shit. And that was
yeah.
all them years of.
Kareem's actually in pretty good shape for
Yeah,
Kareem, Magic, those type of guys. But those
yeah,
guys, those were the type of guys that they were doing the stuff. Really, if you think about it, like Kareem, especially Kareem, he was doing karate with Bruce Lee. And he was taking different training methods and
yeah.
applying it to his body. You know what I'm saying? Like
Uh-huh.
so, and Magic was the same way. I mean, even with the AIDS stuff going on, Magic always was a guy that took care of his body first. You know what I mean? He was on some other shit when it came to that.
Yeah.
So I think you look at those guys compared to like a Charles Barkley or Shaquille O'Neal who barely get around some of the time. You know what I mean? Like Shaq get around pretty good, but Shaq also probably has a lot of pain and hurting in his body after all the years. So I see your point there. It's hard. It's just hard. Like I'm old school with that manly man mindset of like just fucking push through and do whatever. It's very hard to. But I understand why they do it. It's they're human beings as much as we can shit on them and stuff. They got to take care of their bodies and stuff too.
Ain't no good having all that damn money. You're gonna be dead at 55.
Yeah, I mean, like football players go through the same sort of thing. Football players are more like to sacrifice themselves a little bit more. But as much as I like watching the games where the receivers are coming across the middle and getting their heads knocked off. It's not good for them in the end of their career. Like I understand that. So it's kind of sad to see because the visual of that sort of stuff, and the optics of that sort of stuff is what shines through a lot of the time. But you don't think about outside of that how it affects these guys' lives and everything like that. So, well, brother, I think it's about it for me tonight. We've done about almost 3 hours tonight.
Yeah,
and we didn't talk AMC the whole time. We talked some fucking sports. I thought that was pretty fun. I like we'll have to come back.
Cool.
I love talking sports, man. I try to keep up with some stuff. I'm not as in depth as I used to be on stuff, but if you want to do another show next week, we'll do some stocks and sports talk.
We can do all that, man. We'll be back at y'all boys. Maybe we probably get back at y'all on Monday, y'all. We're gonna be back at y'all on Monday with the game, what's going on in the stock world and in the sports world. So I want y'all boys to tune on in. DT, good looking out. Bye. All y'all boys, KID.
Yeah, kid putting in work out there. We didn't give him his credit tonight. I like just before we go with Kid and stuff. Like, much respect, Kid. Much respect. You get much respect.
Yeah, don't tell me they sending you death threats. I hope they sending you death threats, bro.
Yeah.
Be careful. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Well, they're doing all sorts of shit. So kid's doing God's work out there. Kid, much love to you. Kids doing God's work, and I didn't get in depth to it because I only caught pieces of it through the day. I've been talking to him and stuff. I didn't really know how to, and we don't want to, we don't want to put too much spotlight on Kid because he got enough going on too. But he's doing the right thing out there. He's calling those God's work. He's calling those grifters and common now. Keep doing the good work, Kid. We love you, man. Much love to you guys. Much love to Bot, the crowd. Hitman. You deleted your Twitter. Want to talk to you? Well, we was talking about doing a wrestling show. Yeah.
What happened? Where he at?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I was talking to him about doing a wrestling show, and then this week just kind of fell through, whatever, and then I tried messaging him and deleted his Twitter. So I hope he's doing okay. I hope if you watch this, man, Hitman, you get back with us.
Hitman, get back in the game, baby.
Yeah, man.
We need you.
I already miss you. We're really looking forward to talking wrestling with you. I really am. They had this big pay-per-view this last week for AEW called Full Gear, and there was a lot of stuff that happened there. And I know you guys probably not in that shit, but I was thinking about, even so I didn't have to put ticket out, just trying to figure out how to do a stream on my channel just for wrestling and stuff like that.
That's cool.
So it's something's happening every day, so you got to figure shit out. But yeah, Hitman, much love to you guys. Much love to Kid, DT, Laz, Doc Sunshine, all you guys, man. Y'all take care. All right.
We'll be back at y'all on Monday, y'all. Y'all be easy.
Take it easy. Peace.
Yeah.